Hello! The show has started. Welcome to the Yacht Club, the weekly show where we talk about the week's news, we cover the hottest topics, and we also go over questions from the community from viewers just like you. So we're really looking forward to having a great week. And starting it off, what we want to do is talk about what we've been drinking. So I'm going to pass it off to Dr. Murray. What's in your beer glass or goblet today?
Water?
Every time?
We fired you.
Dr. Murray did not get his scotch delivery this week.
I did not.
It might be
Shadow,
my fault.
We
I
tried
drank
to
it
ping
all.
you earlier.
I know. I probably drank it all last night.
Yeah, probably.
Badly planned.
Yeah, life happens.
Is it a special kind of water? Do you have some ice in there? What shape are the cubes? Are they Star Wars or Death Star
Is it
shape?
Bergen? Is it Bergen ice?
No, it's just water in a bottle.
So we're taking applications for new members on the.
Nice.
New drinking hosts.
Drinking host. The thing is,
Actually, you know what? I could just go get another bottle of scotch and drink two. One for
Yeah.
him.
Oh, there you
There we
go.
go.
There
I
you
think
go.
I can do that.
So
I
what
can
did you get
handle
up to this week, Dr. Murray?
nothing. Preparing for a puppy, which comes tomorrow.
Oh, that's
The puppy
exciting.
is finally arriving.
Yeah, it was supposed to be today, but somebody had to work instead.
You don't work.
No, it wasn't me.
Oh, okay. Well, that solves that.
Do you have a pen ready? And what's your story?
A pin ready.
Like yeah,
Yeah.
for bit fighting dogs. Is that not how that works?
Way to welcome
Writing
him home.
pencil, and I'm like, why
What
would
is
I
that?
have a writing pen?
What does that even mean?
Like a pen or like a crate, for the dog
Yeah,
to sleep
no,
in
he's
at
got-
night. Or
He's got a crate. He's got a crate.
Crates makes sense.
okay.
Moving right along.
So, what have you been up to, Shadow?
Animal Classic Gem. Actually, I'm drinking a my good buddy Pixel brought this over. It is a Rabbit Hole Kentucky Straight Whiskey,
Wow.
bourbon whiskey. Having it in a Manhattan, some Pashad's bitters, and some Luxardo cherries. It's pretty fantastic.
Wow.
And I have been busy surviving this week. It's been a busy week. I got a new mic, so that's pretty nice. Sounds good, I hope. Everyone always complains about how bad I sound. So,
Sounded good.
yeah.
How's the new business going? I know
No,
you're
it's
still neck
we're
deep in
working-
your new business.
We just we're bringing the first demo online probably in the next week. So super cool. Can't say anything about it yet, but when it's big, you'll probably hear about it. So, but
Nice.
so what are you drinking there, Jordan?
I am drinking a new beer, Blanche de Chamblay.
It's got to be like the coolest name ever.
It's a pretty cool name. It's not as cool a bottle
Nice.
as the $16 bottle that I was drinking last week and the week before, but it is quite tasty. It's a Canadian wit beer with some unique, beautiful, crisp flavor fusion of peppery spices, orange peel, and coriander, creating a lovely example of the Belgian wit beer style. I had to read that because that's too complicated for me.
Yeah,
Well, Canada knows how to do it
and
right.
most-
So
that's right.
Most importantly, I have my new
Yes.
custom Jump Club
Yeah.
Oh, that looks
beer goblet.
Now
fantastic.
that you actually drank some, you can
And-
see it better.
And can you see this? And then I have the Star Citizen
Nice.
engraved on this side. I should have
Very
gotten
cool.
the printing. They offered a printed version or an engraved version. The engraved was guaranteed not to come off when you wash it. The printed version, they said, could do like 100 washes in a dishwasher, and I typically hand wash my glasses anyway, so I probably should have gotten that.
Yeah.
And for $30, including shipping, you too can have a custom.
You too
beer
can have an
goblet.
official. I think we're going to do
No,
some Yacht
you're not
Club,
supposed to
swag.
tell them
Yeah.
$30.
it's 47.
That's right.
It's
It's okay. We'll bury the price in the shipping and handling.
No. So that's the Jump Club version. The Yacht Club version.
Oh,
however,
right.
is-
Oh
Right.
yes, yes,
Because
yes.
it
yes.
has words on it instead.
How do you think we're
Yep.
going to afford all of our ships?
Yeah, right.
That's right. Charging extra for custom beer goblets.
Right, right.
So,
It's just basic economics.
That's
Stim,
right.
what are you drinking?
All right, I am drinking, it is a honey Pilsner. So this was brought over by some friends from the island, from Vancouver Island. I was away in Roanoke, Virginia, visiting my sister, just kind of hanging out with my sister, my nephews, and getting to see them and fix their computers and make sure that they're gaming away and having a lot of fun. And while I did that, I had some good buddies come over, and they went to watch a Canucks game. So it was good. But right now I'm actually sporting the United Earth Mining Corporation colors.
Nice.
With the slogan,
nice.
We are mining. Just a pointless little plug right
We are
there.
mining. Nice.
Yeah, UEMC.
If you like mining, UEMC, United Earth Mining Corporation, is the most active mining org in Star Citizen.
Nice.
And
I believe.
Stim doesn't even know.
I've
how to
only got
mine.
the space kit on.
I'm okay at mining. So for me, I'm the hauling manager for the low sec or low security sectors. So I focus on getting what they mine home safely so we can profit from it and enjoy our time in the verse. So that's how that goes.
With your favorite ship, the
Hull E.
Yeah, exactly.
Hull
Well,
E.
any of the hulls, depending upon what the depending upon what the
how many
operation
tens of
requires.
thousands of it?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
your answer
Either
is
hull
supposed
E
to
or
be 890 jump.
well, I might very well be in a command and control role in the 890 jump, overseeing, making sure everything's going well, and hopefully we get command and control in the 890 jump. I'm really hoping for that.
Managing your hauling empire from your space yacht.
Yeah.
That's right.
From the Citadel / panic room.
Yeah.
/
battle
war
bridge.
room.
Wait
Battle
until you
bridge.
see my crew. I won't be watching you mine, that's for sure.
It'll be good times. You'll need ore to make things happen in the game at some point.
Let's just swing the 890s by occasionally just to watch the ore.
I like mining in my prospector now and then, occasionally, rarely.
Barely. Throw it in there.
So why don't we move on to what happened this week in Star Citizen?
Actually, a fairly busy week as we approach 3.5.
Yeah. I heard Board Gamer in his stream this morning say that he's expecting 3.5 PTU to drop any hour. So any
I
day,
think
any
he's
hour.
being
Any hour?
really-
Any
I
hour.
believe
Yeah.
I believe that Board Gamer, love him to death, he might be slightly overly optimistic at times.
Yeah. I
Like
believe
all
he's
the time.
overly optimistic.
Like all the time.
Well, I think he's pretty reserved, actually.
Overly
He thinks it's
optimistic
true.
about Star Citizen. I mean, guys, if you're still following at this point, you got to be crazy like us.
You want to make a safe bet about when it's going to be released in PTU, you go with this week or next week.
Well, I don't know. You were wrong about
that's
getting
it.
it to
No, it
Evocati.
wasn't.
Yeah, you were.
It was a week.
Friday.
A week
You said
that
by
it might
Friday.
go.
Came out Friday.
Yeah.
I think that there is probably a 60% chance we'll see first wave Friday. But
It depends on what these
that's only
current patches do.
yeah, because we still don't have the 300 series in there. Everything's really super crazy buggy from what I've heard from everybody. So and they've got quite a bit of bug fixing to do before we get to first wave. And yeah, like the female character model and DNA customization. A lot of
Did you
that
see
is
the one where it was walking away?
barely
That
functioning.
was pretty cool.
We
like
have
that.
that
We're
to
get-
show later on in the show.
Oh, good.
We
Nice.
do, we do. But so last month we got the monthly report, which was just chock full of information, which almost nobody reads. Although I read it front to back, and it's always really I recommend everybody should read it if you really want to know what's going on with Star Citizen. And everybody who
Impactful data.
bitches that there's nothing happening doesn't read the monthly report. I mean, there is a
Yeah.
shit ton going on every month, and it's
Yep.
all listed on there.
Yep.
Well, so what happened this week is, of course, on Wednesday, as you mentioned, we had the February monthly report come through. On Thursday, we had ATV, and we'll talk about ArtCorp, the projectile manager, as well as the in-lore holidays. We had some leaks about ArtCorp, which is very exciting, that came through on the same day, on Thursday, and a little bit over Friday as well. On Friday, we had the RTV. And St. Patrick's Day weekend screenshot contest went into play. We also had the Phoenix Emerald and Fortuna Rover sale, which is something else we'll talk about. On Monday, of course, This Week in Star Citizen, the document that goes out that we use to build a lot of this show, came out. We had the lore post yesterday on Tuesday. And then today, I didn't see it come out, but we're supposed to get the St. Patrick's Day contest winners. So why don't we start with the ATV and have a look at ArtCorp.
I can't. This looked. Yeah. I mean, yeah. This was like all things epic. I was very happy about. But yeah,
I am just
well,
super hyped for this.
what was super cool? I mean, it was. I forget what it was in the RTV or ATV, but they went through and they said, you know what? You go through video games, right? And you're like, oh, you look at all the advertising and it's like, it's not real. But now they've actually gone into the lore, which is just a ton of, and pulled out all these names and these companies. And so if you read the lore, like I read a lot of it, I don't read all of it, but I mean, it is super cool to see the actual names of the companies. You're like, I remember reading that like 3 years ago or something. So they went through and added, if you didn't miss it, they went through and added all the images or created logos and images for all these companies and so everything was it's actually real, you know, if you actually can read about it somewhere. So it's pretty neat. Oh, and then the water droplets. Yeah, here's where they were going through. But those are all real companies or entities from the lore, which I think is really neat. Because you see them and you hope they come back, you know. So.
And they've spent time to do proper logos, you know. Logo design is not easy. You know, you have to focus on simplicity. You have to get all your messaging across in a very simple design.
So I killed a bottle of scotch tea last night with my buddy Pickle. It's not easy.
I like that Casaba one as well.
An interesting. I hate Casaba clothes. I mean, they need a fall. They need a new line. I don't know. We need a whole new line of higher end jump club clothes for people with taste.
That's right.
Casaba's kind of like the Gap of Star Citizen. very basic.
Yeah. Not that any of us ever shopped at the Gap before.
I thought there was a really interesting comment that Super Mac Brothers Ryan mentioned about the can of fizz here that we're seeing. The droplets that fall and will actually bounce off of you are a precursor to raindrops. Yep. So when we actually have weather. Yeah, and they were talking about in ArtCorp that and some days are going to be rainy, some parts are going to be rainy. We're going to actually have weather and day-night cycles, and it's going to feel super Blade Runner-y.
How does a planet completely covered in city have a water cycle?
Well, it's still got to rain. I mean, you're still going to have humidity in the atmosphere. Certain areas will heat up, certain areas will cool down because of the sun moving around it. It'll happen.
Just differently.
Hey, guess what? Besides, it's a video game.
I think that's the answer.
It's not a game.
It's
not a game. Can make it do anything. No, they probably got like little sprayers coming out the side of the building.
Oh yeah, and just mist. They just put atmosphere in.
Artificial rain.
Exactly.
Go outside, take a shower.
I wonder, you know, with all that cloud tech that they're going to have coming through, there might very well be just with levels of detail being far away. Rain that looks almost realistic.
Yeah, like Jordan, you know that because when
showers coming out like a movie set.
You can see the big rain bands coming in. I always thought that was really neat. That would be really cool to see. I mean,
every afternoon.
Yep. Yeah. Right around 4 o'clock. 2 o'clock. 2 4. Yep.
I'd wash my bike every day.
Yeah. There you go.
I'd go out there about 1:30, get my helmet, take it onto the rain would come and wash my bike. No, run.
And
No, I think it's. I really hope that they add that whole weather element because I really feel like that's true immersion, right? I mean, we deal with it every day. We don't even think about it, but then you're in a video game and it's like, whoa, okay, that's pretty cool. So I really hope they go to the extreme on that.
They will at some point. And
Mhm.
what's it's kind of like the actual real day-night cycles that, and this is the only simulated universe that has a real sun as a light source and real planets with atmosphere actually rotating.
Yeah, that's a good
and
point too.
eventually orbiting. And so real sunrises and real sunsets and eventually real weather patterns.
Yeah.
I did like the fact that they does look like they are going to be planning on putting some buildings that are above the no-fly zone, because when they were talking a few weeks ago on ATV, it's or RTV, that they weren't going to have anything besides Area 18 that we were going to be able to actually fly around and explore. But they, I think it was in the monthly report where they are actually going to have some buildings that project up above the no-fly zone over the
Right.
planet. So we will actually have other landing areas besides Area 18.
They've said that
was
before.
one of the-
Yeah.
No, they said that they weren't sure if they were going to.
They're not
They
gonna
probably
be-
wouldn't have until the following patch.
They're not going to be landing areas. They're going to be
No, but they'll
like
just be
buildings you can land on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
A landing area is with the hangars.
yeah, no, I mean it's not a whole area, but if we have a skyscraper, if we can
Yeah.
at least go in like a few floors and explore a little bit of it, would be super cool. Because
Yeah, I don't think
it's-
that's coming with 3.5.
they said that we'd be able to land on some of the tall buildings. I don't know
Yeah.
if we'll be able to go.
You
to
land on it.
anything,
There might
but-
not be much
Yeah.
to do there, but
Exactly.
But I agree.
either way,
coming
it's
out
super cool. I
3.5
mean,
for that.
it's laying the foundation because you got to get the planet done first before you
Right.
start creating landing
Well,
zones. So
it's like Hurston. I mean, when they first gave us Hurston, they didn't have the CBD in there at all. So
Well,
they'll add to it as they go.
Yeah, they're going to continue to add to it. Stim,
Yeah,
actually,
plus
if
the
you
new train.
jump ahead to the ArcCorp leaks, the shuttle flying through ArcCorp would kind of be a good
ArcCorp
good
leaks.
lead in there.
Okay. That's bright. This one here?
Yeah, this one. So, so this is one of the leaks actually riding on the shuttle that they talked about from point to point through ArcCorp. So, and this just looks amazing. I mean, all we want to do is fly through these buildings, and it's
Yeah.
like when we got the train on Lorville that just ride back and forth on the train was an incredible experience. It still is every time, and this is going to be freaking spectacular. I mean, just riding shuttles through the city. I'm going to spend hours doing that.
Yes, we know you will. He's gonna be collecting fares on the side.
Just gonna be
Doesn't
riding that
render
train,
very well.
holding out my cup for nickels.
See how many UAC you can earn just by sitting on the train.
Yeah. Be
I
one
can
of
say it's
those-
really cool, and that's all I can say about it.
No, I can't wait.
It looks cool.
I'm going to take us back
It's
to the talking screen here. You guys can talk about it. I'm just going to see if I can fix the video. Video
And
seems a little bit
I'm
messed
gonna
up
get another
here.
beer. That beer went really fast because it was delicious.
Okay, well that leaves
Well,
Dr.
see,
Murray and Shadow to talk.
You were worried. You were worried a little bit about it.
I'm still here.
Okay, well, talk amongst yourselves.
while he's drifting to the next beer.
Floating off into space. The beautiful thing about wireless headsets, I can just wander in the kitchen and grab another beer. And this is actually, I don't know where this is from. Boca Raton, yes. So this is Barrel of Monk. So this is a local brewery in Boca Raton. The Wizard Wit. You gotta love that. Gotta love that. That is
Boca. I
super
used to
cool.
live in Boca.
I know
I
you're supposed
I didn't think anything
to
lived
come back
good there.
down.
I know.
Does anything live in Boca Raton?
Ultra's supposed to be this
Weird.
weekend.
Weird old people live in Boca.
Yes, they do.
That
Yes.
don't
Well, I know.
know
I
how to
live a
drive.
few. Pretty crazy. No, that looks pretty amazing. I mean, I'm not a beer guy.
I hope it's tasty. It looks good.
So what about the leaks? Oh no, wait. Yeah, the shuttle flying through. And then, can we go on to the female characters already? I thought they looked pretty amazing.
Well, we haven't finished with the ATV. We didn't
Oh
get there was a projectile manager, which was
Oh yeah, I wanted to
kind of
talk about
techy, but really great news, because
John,
that's one of the things
you're
that
choppy.
causes a lot of lag in dogfighting.
that. Yeah, a lot of bullets. Got to track where they're going. Well, yeah, and they limited it where it's not a full entity anymore, so it's actually a lot more lightweight. And on a server side, because I know a lot about this because it's what I deal with every day. Yeah, I mean, when you limit that amount of tracking, then, yeah, it's a whole lot less you got to worry about. Just makes everything run. I mean, yeah, they were going from 10 to 12 FPS to like 60. Just doing that. I mean, if you look at that demo, that's a lot of gunfire. I mean, granted, that's like 100 in this fight, but still, that's a lot of.
200 guns.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fire. So we're getting feedback from Twitch saying that the audio is really poor. And it looks like things are a bit twitched. I can't see the guys moving at all here through Discord.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, we're having some technical difficulties here. Jordan, do you want to go ahead and recreate the call, and then what we'll do is see if that helps out with the streaming setup. If you're there. Okay, so we're going to get this going. So just hold on. I'm just going to text Jordan and get him to set up the call. Otherwise, we are still live. And that's one of the benefits of having a streaming computer over just trying to run everything with one computer. Everything would have crashed.
How's that?
That's good. So just go ahead and add the other guys. Okay. Looks like it's working. Fingers crossed. It doesn't seem. Come on. You can do it. I have faith in you. Yeah. Good times. Okay. Flip the call. So now I have Dr. Murray. I don't have picture, but I don't have the other guys. Leave call. Try that again. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. It's probably on my end, I am guessing. Otherwise, we wouldn't have such massive issues. Sorry about this, guys. This is obviously not part of the plan. I'm going to move things through to the chatting screen so that you guys can chat away. So I'll move you to the intro screen. See you guys in a little bit. Chat away. Okay.
I hear
So we're-
you.
Yeah, we're clearly having issues. At least they can chat in the Twitch while we're
Yeah.
we're in there. That was a good idea. Okay, let's see if we can add the others.
Okay.
I'll add Dr. Murray. And where's Shadow?
He's spinny again.
So I wonder if it's on his end. There we
There he
go.
is.
Okay, we got
Okay.
you. Let's
All
add
right,
Dr.
let me
Murray.
ask Dr. Murray.
Okay, okay, you've added him. Okay.
Okay.
All
Hello?
right.
Dr. Murray.
Looks like we're working again.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's try
Sorry,
jumping
I'm
back
unmuted.
over.
All right.
Okay,
That wasn't too bad.
not too bad. Hey, we're back up again.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Woo!
Discord
Technical
hates us.
Oh, we're confused.
Are we muted?
That's
No, we're not muted. Everything's good. I didn't
There's-
even mute when I
Jordan over there.
Well, I'm the new Jordan.
Oh.
Yes, I am control of Bart Citizens.
That's how it happens.
Oh,
Okay.
Just
no.
like that.
All right,
There we
we've
go.
got new
Buddy.
beer.
Was having some
Oh
identity
man,
issues there.
I had like such a nice temporal power struggle there.
All right.
Jordan looks younger. Jordan, you fucking lost 20 years. And I would say 20.
20?
Use a sexy looking gentleman. Captain. There we go.
You're only
like
like
6
like,
years.
you're like 15 years younger than me or something, aren't you?
No. Well, I don't know.
40
Let's let the crowd think that.
Yeah. Just let everybody believe
That's right.
that you're
We're all-
15 years younger than you're.
We're all mature space yacht captains here.
Yeah, right. As I crash mine into
Well,
freaking
not,
docks.
okay, not mature, older.
Mm,
There we go.
There you go.
Aged.
aged. Yes.
Well aged.
Seriously aged.
Well aged like a good scotch.
That's
So
right. Okay.
back to our projectile manager before we were so rudely interrupted by the gremlins of the internet, and so they had 200
Still
Gatling
gotta
guns, I
fix it.
think.
Keep talking though.
There it went somewhere, but yeah. So the code tech that they were implementing for that is that coming in 3.5 or is that 3.6? Wasn't sure.
For what?
I think they.
The
well, they
projectile
didn't say.
manager?
I
I think they were saying it was 3.5.
I don't think they said.
I don't
so.
think they said what it was for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but soon,
It's one of those
soon
working
TM,
on it. Yeah.
soon,
Yeah.
soon TM. But like
Oh no.
Rexzilla had a couple of weeks ago 40 something gladiuses in gladiuses in one in one battle, and it looks super cool, but they just experienced tremendous lag.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, and you're gonna. I mean, this
this is going to help a lot.
happen. It's still teething, right? But I mean, this type of technology is definitely going to help with that. I mean, when you jump like 50 frames per second, it just is like, yeah.
It's yet another example of them continually iterating and continually improving and making things better. And the community really has such a short-term memory for so much, like how far we've come.
Mhm.
And it was only 3.4 3 months ago when we got those huge frame FPS increases.
Yeah, when they did the
Where,
optimization.
People all over the community were getting tremendous frames.
Mhm.
Just 3 months ago. And
Yeah, I
before
jumped from 40 to 90.
yeah, and everybody was,
Oh, it's a
was
massive
bitching
jump.
for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a huge improvement, just across the board, and that was just one major improvement in the and the networking technology, and they're continuing to do this. We've got years ahead of us of them continually iterating and making improvements to make all of these things better. Like I was talking with somebody in concierge, and they were talking about the AI, and it's like, oh, the AI is never going to do this, do that. 'Cause like, I look at how they are now. It's like, what they are now is nothing. What they are now is a placeholder. Like, how can you look at what we have now and not see how far we've come in every different aspect of what we have and how far we have to go?
I'm Jordan again.
I'm
Yes,
gonna let it
you
go
are.
for a while.
There I am up there.
All right, I'm working on it.
I'm the only one who
I
stays.
got my
put.
left.
Oh God! It's hover, Jordan.
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
Death of a spaceman. Death of Jordan.
Death of a Jordan.
I'm lost in space.
Dude, that was awesome. He's like literally wee.
There we go.
Just a dismembered torso.
I look like I'm fading into the next dimension.
I'm
You look
working on
Time
it.
traveling.
Like,
Time.
Teen Eister, we've barely begun to drink.
I know,
My
right?
second beer.
There we go.
Maybe we should have
Fixed.
like really. Maybe we should have did shots before. Ralmick was, or somebody said shots in chat, and I agreed. So maybe you should just start pouring those out.
Shots are for young people. We just drink.
Oh, well, fair enough.
Pour them big and just drink them.
I can hang
Yeah.
out with any crowd. All right, so what do we got next?
Yeah, let's move on to Stella
check them
Fortuna.
Well, the holidays, yeah.
What was all that stuff? Did anybody actually pay attention to that?
I did, and I actually kept to say I kind of liked it. I mean, that was
Wait, wasn't
you
Fortuna?
it's more immersive.
Oh my gosh.
Was it Fortuna like an extrapolation of St. Patrick's Day,
Mhm.
and Pax Humana was an extrapolation of Veterans Day?
Yeah.
That was the one I didn't know. Was it Veterans Day?
Yeah. They said
Yeah, I
November
think
8th.
so.
Could be really fun.
Yeah, I didn't correlate the dates because I'm terrible with dates.
There we
But they
go.
were talking about how celebrating the UE Navy, and having the Navy having big parades and displays. I thought I'd cut that guy out of there.
All good.
So much for the B roll. It's a C roll.
You know,
now.
this is the episode of technical difficulties.
This is really.
It will never be like this
So
again.
we're
So
we're
enjoy
gonna
it while it
officially establish
happens.
a new standard tonight. We are going to do shots before we start the show. I feel like it's going to be a lot better.
Shot.
Yeah,
Bruce,
we're going to do a 5-minute shot session.
Well,
Okay,
we'll
carry
open
on.
our first drinks before the show,
Mhm.
not as we start the show, so we can
Things did kind of come together quick tonight.
already be rolling into it. So Pax Humana was the like the Veterans Day of. I missed the scene before this where they were showing like the javelin in atmosphere.
See,
So-
I think. Oh, yeah, good point. Go ahead.
So that
where we're
right
going.
there is a whole subject of debate because all of our
Oh, yeah.
javelin people, and Murray, you've got a javelin or two, right?
Yeah.
So the whole question of bringing javelins into atmosphere, they don't land, but
Nope.
okay, maybe you can take them into upper atmosphere slowly,
I would agree with that.
very slowly.
Yeah.
They're not going to land
No.
more than once.
And it's
Ah.
going to take you a week to get down and a week to get back. But
That's that picture
the
right there.
point is-
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it exactly. I mean, pretty impressive picture. We've seen.
Wait. That's not a javelin, is it?
Yeah, it
Oh,
is.
yeah. There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Okay.
we've
I'm looking
actually
at
No,
the
it's just the
addresses.
other big ship that we have.
That's busy crashing
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
pretty
low
much.
it probably would be crashing, but this is like the second or third image that we've seen of a javelin in low atmosphere, and this is
Hmm.
Earth, so we know it's a full.
What if
Earth
you
gravity
were
atmosphere.
just going fast enough in a straight line? You buzz the planet.
Yeah.
Be a
You
fireball.
can't do that. It would be a fireball. That'd
Yeah,
be awesome.
yeah.
What a way to
Somebody-
celebrate, right?
Somebody out there has flown a reclaimer in atmosphere.
Fireball and alcohol.
They're
Yeah,
not aerodynamic.
reclaimer. Uh-huh.
So it's going to fly like a reclaimer in the atmosphere. Maybe
There's
worse.
no VTOL on that thing.
Yeah.
It was a cool image, even if it's just crazy
Yeah.
concept art.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful
and
image.
inspiring its own level of controversy. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of comments on that
We already have.
in the Jump Club era of that. Yeah.
So should we talk a little bit about what those days were? So the first one was basically the Stella Fortuna. That was basically a St. Patrick's Day. Yeah,
God.
that's the really the lore to sum it up. Then after that, you end up with that next day, which was called
Triggerfish.
Triggerfish.
Yes, April Fool's Day.
That's at the very end,
There was some naming
or somewhere in
things about it, but I like the story behind it. You know,
Yeah, so
Magnus, the fourth
there.
Magnus planet. that's
Triggerfish
actually there.
is April 1st, April Fools,
Yeah.
Mhm.
essentially.
So it's upcoming.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
yes.
And then Pax Humana. This probably has the most vibrant sort of story behind it.
I love this one. I
Go ahead
can't
and
wait
tell
to see
people
the
about it.
parades. Think about the parades the Star Citizen community is going to throw on. I mean, think about it. We're already doing now with 50-player servers. Yeah, it's going to be freaking cool.
Yeah.
Big ships, lots of big
Yes,
ships.
lots of big freaking ships.
I envision a lot of crash javelins.
Well, the 890 Jump Club always talks about having a parade, right? And we even have a
We'll
parade
be
channel
having-
going on.
Mini yacht parades,
Well, of course. Those are called flotillas.
regattas.
Regattas. That's the correct term. That's
But-
right.
But flotillas of yachts or regattas of yachts.
Well, it
No,
all
regatta
depends if
is
they're-
the action.
Well, it depends if the weapons are hot. And then it's a flotilla.
Good point.
So the Arc Corp
I need
leaks
Riesel.
is the next thing to go on to. I'm just watching time here.
Oh,
I-
we never get to all the good topics, but that's okay.
That's okay. There's always so much to talk about, and that bugs me about all the people that say it's like, oh, we're in a content drought. It's like there's so much to talk about with this project.
We never seem to run out.
We talk about it 24/7 in the Jump Club. It's like I don't know what other people do.
We still got 600 questions to answer for Rex in the next show.
Yeah.
We'll have
Yeah.
We apologize for
definitely-
not getting to those questions at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Last time we went well over time, but we'll end up doing that when we have Rex on again after the new flight model drops. So that'll be good.
Yes, 3.5. We're gonna have Rex back again because he wants to be on for. He said that he could easily do this show for 4 hours. So we'll probably plan a 2-hour show and go over.
I think we should
All
just
right,
distract everybody
I'm gonna have to
with
move my whole bar right next to this.
I thought you already
Yes.
had.
this video.
No, I haven't. I like
But
this video.
This video, yes. So
I
just
like this video.
what besides the strikingly sexiness of it is like how realistic the mocap. All right, so it's like I'm not politically correct, but how realistic the motion capture that and I was talking. I don't remember what channel it was earlier tonight about this. That Star Citizen is one of the very few projects where they've done completely different skeleton animations for everything.
Male and female.
And
Mm.
yeah, and everything was scaled down for a completely different skeleton, different movements, different length, arms, legs, torso, for everything. As opposed to, I don't know who it was saying, like in Skyrim, it's like, all right, the female is just the male only with different textures.
Yeah.
And with with most games, it is.
Yeah.
You guys play more games than I do because I'm not really that much of a gamer.
Well, there's been a lot of Skyrim mods to fix that, but Star Citizen's getting it
I-
right to begin
I've
with.
seen some of the mods. I've seen some of the mods.
I'm sure you have, you pervert.
Oh. Anyone? Well, I mean, there's
that's a
4K
whole nother
skin
show.
textures.
The whole,
we
yes.
go with we keep going back to, and this comes up a lot is everyone keeps saying, oh, you can't do that, and then Star Citizen goes and does it, and it's like this is just another one of those. It's a little thing, but I mean it's a great little nuance to catch because you're just like, wow, you know what, that actually looks like a woman, and
yeah. And when you see the walk, you know it's a woman, and
Mhm.
they walk differently.
and there's
the men.
going to be some 50-year-old guy controlling her, but I mean the whole point is it's going to look good.
It's going to be a much more diverse. In mere weeks, the entire universe is going to change. We're going to have
Yeah. You're gonna have 80% women running around in the game.
but also think about
Hopefully
this.
that's for a short time
complaining
period.
or anything.
But also think
Just
about
surround
all the NPCs that we see everywhere that we go. I mean, look here in ArtCorp. So all the NPCs like we have in Loreville, and remix that with female NPCs. So we're going to have males and
Baghead,
females.
baghead females.
Yeah, the crazy bagheads. And it's really going to diversify the verse a lot. That used to be a show. There was a podcast called
Diverse the Verse. Yeah, I remember that.
Diverse the
I
verse, yeah.
missed that. I really enjoyed that. It was some of the female streamers, and it was Sophie Girl and blanking.
Yeah.
Just
What was the focus of that show?
Try again.
Miss Hearts, Batgirl. Thank you, Kimmy.
Yeah.
And it
Oh.
was our
Moving
1
on.
million.
No, that's Batgirl.
Eden Star, yes, our 1 millionth citizen, Eden Star. All of them. Haven't really seen them in the community very much since, but hopefully with the female characters, they're going to be back. Hopefully they bring their show back. That would be great.
3.5 offers a lot of really cool, like diverse content. So I mean, everything from the flight model. I know the flight model is probably the biggest thing, but I mean, I
Everybody's
feel
always
like
talking about the flight model, but it's just a different way to fly. I mean, I'm not a dog fighter, so
but I mean,
like,
we feel like this is going to be the final model. At least we hope so, because we've kind of already
Yeah.
been through 2. So, and it's going to fix a lot of the big ship stuff, which is really
it's going to change a lot. And it definitely is. But we're going to have a whole other planet. We're going to have 2 more moons.
Mhm.
We're going to have 3 planetary locations in the Stanton system to fly to, and a whole new aesthetic here. Female characters, new ships, and 3.5 is one of the biggest patches ever since Hurston.
Yeah.
Since, what was
Yeah,
it?
it really is
3.3.
very cool.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
3.0, 3.3, now 3.5. I mean, and that's pretty often huge patches, and we're getting so much content, and people are, still complaining. Like, what the fuck, man? Excuse my language, but
Come on, Jordan.
so much stuff coming.
So
Captain, fuck that question. But
In preparing for 3.5, we've had Eva Cotty have some leaks
the avocado.
the last while. So we
Yeah, I
should talk
know.
about
Are we
those.
allowed to leak those?
Not
me. Well,
whatever.
You know what? So the only one who can't really say anything about this is Dr. Murray. Nobody else is
we
Eva
won't
Cotty.
say why. Leak.
But we've got our female mission giver coming in, which she looks fantastic.
I have a thing. Go on.
A thing for her.
She's the kind of girl that can kick your ass.
I like it.
I keep saying she looks like Jason Momoa's wife.
Yeah, well, we proved that last time, so that was actually pretty cool.
Then that looks
What
amazing,
else?
flying through our
Oh,
corp.
yes,
Yeah.
and it's the Vanguard, obviously
Yeah.
my favorite ship.
Which
You
is
can
getting
see
rework.
there's
And
advertising on the side of the.
It's not a
building.
rework.
it is a rework.
It's
It is
not
a it's a rework.
Yep.
Really?
it's a rework.
I thought
It
they
is
were
a rework.
doing the center section.
Yeah,
Well,
most of the center.
they're making it wider.
The interiors.
They're
Yeah,
making my girl bigger?
Yeah, my favorite chip too.
Not
It's
that
getting
much.
wider.
Aw, man, wait, I can't like this ship. No, you can't like my favorite ship.
I bought 3 of them when they first came out.
3? I got freaking 6. These things are awesome.
Wow.
I plan on
I have
having a
4
lot of
now?
fun in these. Anyway, go on. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Vanguards
So-
are cool.
Yeah, Vanguard's
There's
versatile.
the Vanguard
Yeah,
flying,
flying through ArtCorp like that just looks amazing,
doesn't it?
and that
Well,
view
it's
over
cool.
the city with all the lights.
Yeah, and the way with the Vanguard with the swept wings, it's like the wings are out, right? So you're in flight mode, and it kind of like it's a combination of a F-14, a P-38, an A-10 with a gun, and a OV-10 Bronco with like the ability to carry. It's just like the coolest ship ever. So anyway, that's my 10 cents. No,
Then
but
we've
flying
got a-
through here, I thought that
yeah.
looked really neat.
Isn't that
Did
gorgeous?
do you have the video? Didn't they have a video?
Actually, Glitchy the Dragon was asking in the chat there about buying Star Citizen to a VR headset, and somebody mentioned Track IR, but actually CIG has incorporated that into the game already. with if you have a regular webcam, the FOIP face over IP feature is actually head tracking. So
It's eye tracking as
actually-
well, as I understand.
is it
That's
eye
the
tracking?
plan for it. I believe that's the plan
yeah,
for it.
Yeah, I think that
So-
is the plan for it. But right now, as of 3.4, face over IP lets you do head tracking, so you can actually be flying and looking around, which I have done, and it's amazing. I mean, it needs some work and some adjustment, but
Yeah.
you don't need to go buy $150 Track IR.
Well, what do you think is really going to be the best way to play this, right? VR, like a full VR headset, a
Well-
track IR, a multi-monitor setup. You know, we know some guys have like 6 monitors set up. I've got 6, but I only use 3.
I think it depends on what you're doing.
So I had a chance to check out the Tobii Eye Tracker for a little while. That one's designed, it's medical grade. It's designed for accessibility for people with disabilities. It's incredible, extremely responsive. And I had a chance to play Elite Dangerous. And with just a couple of minutes of sort of training yourself how to use it, it's really immersive and extremely accurate for diving into menus, choosing your destination,
I've heard
etc.
Tobii is really good.
Yeah. So if they can get that going with FOIP, that'll be just amazing. But I mean, VR
I
sounds
haven't
pretty
heard
good. But
anything
if you have
Cracking eye.
sticks and like if you're flying HOSAS and you're in a VR world, you might be fishing for your sticks.
Right. Yeah.
And I think having your arms, if you're doing a mission, let's say it's 2.5 hours, 3 hours of gameplay, you're running operations and you're in VR, you don't want to have your hands floating in the air in front of you for 3 hours. I mean, it doesn't matter how much weight you put on there. Eventually, it's going to get tired.
Yeah, I never got into VR. I mean, I could totally see it as like that thing where you like let go and just kind of immerse yourself. It's really great, but at the same time, it's
depends
just
on what you're doing. I don't see VR as being good for dogfighting. I see it as being fantastic for if you're walking around in your 890 jump and you're hanging out in the lounge and you're sightseeing and you're just looking around.
Let's
at
go back to those
vistas of
female
space.
pictures that we were looking at. In that case,
with-
VR
with-
might actually
with-
be a great idea.
with your all female staff and guests in your observation lounges.
Staff and guests, yes.
Staff and guests.
I like you guys.
I think wandering around in ArcCorp, in Microtech, in these environments, walking through the cities, walking around inside your ships in VR is going to be absolutely amazing. But I don't see it as really ideal for a lot of the really action parts. Like somebody was talking about using it as I think Kimmy would mention it, not great for FPS. I don't think VR. I mean, Doc, you're the FPS expert here. VR, FPS.
That's scary.
Yes, no.
It's fun. From what I hear, I don't do VR, so I don't know. But there are good FPS VR games. So
Yeah,
But
like
you
Eddie just said, DCS
envision
with
it?
VR. That is amazing.
It would be
I have-
amazing in VR. It really would. But, I can't see myself wearing that heavy VR rig for a while until the tech gets way better. We're all going to end up with these giant rims around our eyes.
See, that's the thing I hate is like, it's not the fact that it's not good or, it's not cool. It's the fact that you just lose sight of everything around you. I mean, I've got like a lot of cats, so I can't have a thing on my head. So I feel like there's just you lose complete sight of everything that's around you. And
You just got to give them little VR headsets too, and it'll be.
Yeah, that would totally not work.
And,
good luck.
and Eddie in chat's mentioning that DCS, which is a that fighter plane simulation,
I have done that in VR.
works great in VR.
It's amazing.
So, and a lot of people love VR in Elite Dangerous, and a lot of people dogfight in Elite Dangerous. Not that there's any similarity between that arcadey type of thing and Star Citizen. But it could be amazing.
Well, what's the key part about VR and the kind of where I was going with it is you can't see anything. So like my desk, I've got 2 keyboards, I've got 2 sticks, I've got 2 mice, I got side consoles and stuff. You can't see any of that. So it's like that's the VR part that drives me nuts is you have to like flip your way in and out of the simulation and actually to do stuff. Now, if they get your hand maps and actually can add like devices to them, maybe it would work. I don't know, like where you can see the keyboard you could type on and things like that. I think it could work, but I mean, in the end, I really feel like AR, augmented reality. I think that's really what's gonna. I mean, I'm hoping there'll be some sort of that, but I mean, it all goes back to that takes away the one really good thing about VR, which is the immersion. So, I don't know, it'll be cool. Yeah. I mean, Google's working on it, Microsoft's working on it.
I see switching back and forth eventually when they really do implement VR more into the universe for us. It's like switching back and forth from having some big monitors to VR, depending on what I'm doing. Kind of like I switch back and forth between mouse and keyboard and dual sticks, depending on what I'm doing. Sometimes I'll be using my sticks even when I'm flying, and sometimes I'll use mouse and keyboard, and sometimes I'll use my sticks and the keyboard for flying. Because sometimes like with strafing, sometimes for finer control, if I want to strafe up and down or something, I'll use the keyboard as opposed to using my left strafe stick. So it's like I don't have a problem just switching back and forth between different.
There's a lot of people though, Jordan, that really want to have a cockpit, a sim pit sort of set up, where they got their sticks, they got a throttle as well. Yeah. They've got a miniature, they've got a keyboard. Like I've got the Logitech Pro. It's a keyboard specifically designed to not have number keys. It sacrifices things to make sure that I can have sticks on either side, and really get immersed. And people have backed Game Glass or other products that'll come out, so that they can have MFDs and they can have that full immersion. So really, they're only touching mouse and keyboard if they want to type or if they want to run around or maybe a controller for on the. They want to use the input they want to use, and that's basically what it boils down to. So if you're happy using mouse and keyboard and kind of hybriding back and forth, that works. But a lot of people want to have their preference.
You can just play the game with mouse and keyboard. It works fine.
Yeah, you actually could. I mean, but the whole point is it all boils back down to player style. I mean, you look at like the big FPS games like Battlefield and stuff. Everyone tells you like, oh, there's no op weapon. It's just what feels right. You might take a low damage, high fire weapon. You might take that whole what feels right for you. And VR right now for me is not what I like. But at the same time, I'm not saying it's not going to. But I don't want them focusing on that specifically because the majority of people are playing. With a standard screen and stuff like that. And it looks like Stim just vanished out of nowhere.
Yep.
Oh, there he is. Good to see you, buddy.
Hey, no problem. Wife got home and she was making a lot of noise. Chat. Talking about female characters, right?
Oh, yeah, we are. You could bring her on. She's probably a great connoisseur of that.
I haven't shown her the female characters yet. We'll have to see what her opinion is. She'll probably just shake her head and look at me and go,
silly video games.
She's not a gamer, is she?
No. You know what? She used to be. She used to play a lot of games with her brother and stuff growing up. Apparently, like she was really good at StarCraft and StarCraft 2.
Really?
Yeah, she was really good, but she's totally out of it.
Wait. StarCraft or StarCraft 2? Because those are two totally different games.
I think it was probably StarCraft 1, but she was pretty much into Diablo 2 and StarCraft 1.
Real keeper there.
Yeah, hard to get her into games these days, but she focuses on other things.
Not a bad thing.
Moving on, is a good place to move on, guys? Because we got to get to questions. Yep. We are now 5 minutes technically towards the end of the show, but obviously we'll keep moving.
I mean, the IT crowd was a great bit.
Yeah.
But
do you want to?
Yeah. Well, for me, no. Let's go straight to the question. We keep missing questions, and I really like the questions.
Well, we'll go over time. I already told the chat in Twitch that we'll go over time and get questions answered today because we didn't touch answers.
Chop it off. We don't have to chop it off.
What's the chat think? Should we go to questions or should we carry on? What's the next topic, Tim?
If only we could run a poll vote. We'll have to get that set up for next time.
We could just see who screams the loudest. Ooh, Spectre says questions.
Put a 1 on the chat if you want us to carry on, or 2 in the chat if you want to jump to questions.
There's your poll.
That's what Rex was.
Lightning round them.
Yep.
It's not a bad idea.
Wait. 1 to carry on, 2 to do questions. Oh, Mystic.
Oh,
wow. Okay.
Yeah, carry on. All right.
I guess it's the stem head.
Crunch is voting twice.
It's the bald head of stem and that sexy beard over there. Actually, both Jordan and Dr. Mary. I can't.
I-
I'm a
I
baby.
just got a
All right.
haircut this evening, actually, for the show.
So, I
Oh,
did
well
too.
done.
I
Well
did
done.
too.
Look at you
Can't
guys.
tell, but
I got a haircut last week, and nobody
it's
noticed.
seeming like
Look at-
a one.
So,
Oh,
what's
oh,
on
yeah.
your shirt today, Shadow?
Oh, I threw it up earlier. This is my co-pilot.
Oh, nice.
Space
Space-
Kitty.
Space
Thanks,
Cat.
Kitty.
I
Love it.
I still have to send you your shirt from CitizenCon. I got it in the box over here.
You do.
I got to do that.
You're the man.
Remind me. I'll
Thank
take
you.
care of that.
All right, so
Oh,
what's our
and-
next topic?
Okay, so
next
Okay,
topic.
next
Go, go, go.
topic is the IT
We're
crowd.
not going to waste too much time.
The
Um,
IT
It's crowd.
Yeah, don't take too long on this. This is really cool because this is like my life. but,
did you actually watch the RTV?
I did. I watched the whole
Okay.
thing. I actually watched it twice. Well, bits and pieces twice. But anyway, I thought it was really neat. I mean, it was mostly very IT, which is fine, but at the same time, they hit a few points, which I thought was really neat. The performance of a very specific machine, the 8086K, which I happen to love. I can't use it though because I have multi processor GPUs, which it doesn't have a processor lanes. But either way, I thought that was really neat that they got the feedback from their crew, and they were like, "Holy crap, this runs really, really good." And you start to get that feedback directly from your developers. I think that's important. So that was really cool. The other point was the day-to-days, right? The day-to-days were, I know this because I used to deal with it all the time. This is a day-to-day just grind. And these guys are in there in the trenches every day, and they're dealing with it because they love the project, right? And I thought that was really cool because that's exactly how I would be.
So as an IT professional, like as a high level
Well, let's not go
networking
professional.
guy,
Yeah.
I need you own multiple businesses in the IT networking
Yes.
field, data centers, et cetera. How do you rate their level of expertise and professionalism?
Well, it's perfect because that's a great question, because when you work for a company and you're not passionate about it, it was exactly what they were saying. It was like, it turns into a grind. It freaking wears you down. But I mean, when you switch over to something, you're like, yeah, you know what? Like I have a perfect example. So I work for a couple like companies that I really didn't care about. They produce products that I didn't really care about. Then I worked for a company called BMW. You guys might have known them. And it was super cool because, I'm a driver, I'm a racer. It's like, I love doing that. So it was really cool to work around because you felt like you were actually doing something that influenced the final product. And that was really neat. So it's a total split from what you're used to dealing with, which is, it's a job and it's just here to make money. And then it's all of a sudden, holy crap, I'm actually passionate about it. I want to do this. This is freaking cool. And you put that extra step forward and you're really trying to put it. So I feel like they're in the sweet spot. I mean, you look at those guys, Mike and those guys, you're just like, man, I mean, I want to be there. I'm got a lot of going on, but at the same time, it's like, man,
Why do
I
you
really
have to go and start another business? Like,
and envy them.
just
Yeah, well, no, I'm thinking consulting, but
just drop all that.
just drop all that. I'll
Maybe,
work on it.
maybe you could just get on as a consultant. And
I actually
they could probably use
I'm
you.
thinking about it. I would
Like,
love to help them get there. So,
We should probably like hook you up.
whoa,
somehow.
yeah, there'll be some conversation at CitizenCon coming up. So, yeah,
I actually I had a great we both volunteered at CitizenCon in Austin, and I had a great little chat with Mike Jones, and he's just the nicest,
did?
most
yeah, he really is. Cool.
yeah. I chatted with him for like 15-20 minutes or so, and he was just like the nicest, most laid back guy. It's like he's so Texan, which
Yeah,
me actually being a Texan, it was cool because I mean he's just like he wears cowboy boots, he wears jeans, and he's so Texan, but he is so techie, and he's a really cool guy, and he's super passionate about the project, and I'm not a techie myself, but
that's
he
what
just
makes a difference. Is the
sense
passion,
his
right?
passion at 100%. Every
does.
single dev, and we were behind the scenes for 3 days with so many of the guys at all levels, and like their passion and commitment is so tangible. I mean, they love what they're doing. They love the community, and they work so hard. I mean, they were there at as many hours as we were. I mean, 7 o'clock in the morning till midnight. For
need to have
days.
passion at that point, right? Because
Yeah.
it really drives you through. I mean, wow, I know what they're dealing with, and that's actually one of the things that my company, one of my companies does really well is we enable very, very small IT groups to manage very large organizations. So a great example is like when he said it was only like four or five IT or something like that, and they managed 2,500 people. One of my customers, they only have 3 IT people and they manage over 7,000 people. So you start to learn these really cool ways of managing IT in a way that you could just empower those guys to do epic stuff with the click of a button, and that's just great. It's just doing it right. So yeah, I thought that was really cool because I really could relate to that.
So my take on the RTV, I loved the RTV in that it kind of had that old feel that we used to get from a couple of years ago from the old RTVs, just a bunch of guys sitting around talking about. It's like
right,
the good old days. Like, oh, we did this event, the CitizenCon, Gamescom, all these old events over the years, and all the cool stories that they had. I like those. I miss those old RTVs. I like that feel, but I think that we were all really looking forward to getting some, like, what's going on with the networking and their plans, and in reading a lot of the questions that were submitted for that, and I don't know, maybe they pulled them because it wasn't necessarily their
I'm sure they got a lot of questions.
Yeah, there were a lot of questions, and a lot of them were, every one of these RTV questions threads is just so much bullshit. Like the morons that submit questions, and it's not just the morons that submit questions. I mean, the questions that get voted up are the stupidest things.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't understand how that happens either.
The time, I mean, just the moronicism of so many people just astounds me. But really shouldn't be surprising. But there was a great question of, okay, well, how do you envision the server meshing, and how many players are we going to get in, when are we going to be able to see more than 50 players in a server? Because I think that's one of the biggest questions that everybody has from a networking standpoint, and the things that Chris talked about. It's like, and that's a major thing that we're working towards is, getting more people into servers and server meshing and the object container streaming and bind calling and all these things that they've been implementing, and we've seen the results of. When are we going to have more than 50 people? And like we had Rick Zilla on last week. It's like he has 50 people on the server for 4 or 5 hours every single night, 7 days a week.
It's stable.
And it's relatively stable. I mean, in 3.4.3, this last patch has actually been pretty shitty from a stability standpoint. The previous patch was more stable, I think. But they have their reasons, and they didn't patch another one to do the bug fixes. But man, if we can get to 100 people in a server, especially now as we're going to add an entirely a whole nother planet. So we're going to have 3 planets, 8, 9, 10 moons, untold, so many space stations, all this space that we're going to be spread around on. Like, we can certainly support the activity and interest areas for 100 people. Because so many people are over at Jumptown, so many people are over at
Jumptown alone will get crazy. Yeah, it's like this tiny little box you can get into.
and I think it's great because the PvP people go to Jumptown, and then the people that just want to do mining or cargo hauling or run missions, they're not typically harassed. I mean, I never run into griefers hardly. Except at Olisar. I mean, Olisar, people are constantly crashing.
It's the 50 person thing, But at the same time, I agree. I think I'm looking forward to it.
So, that's my take on RTV. Like, I really enjoyed it, but I really wanted to hear more about, because I think it's 2017 when we had some of those really deep dives in ATV, where we used to get the really good ATVs that were 45 minutes long, and they had the whole thing from the Austin studio. Remember when they used to go to each studio every week, and they did Austin some of those times, and they really went in depth into like all that seriously techie shit that you would understand about how all the worldwide servers were working together. And
it really is.
Transferring the data. As a layman who's following with a microscope, I still find that fascinating and really interesting. and important, and we haven't really gotten any of that in a long time. And so, I was really looking forward to at least some of that in the RTV. So I enjoyed it, but I was disappointed. So there's my monologue on RTV.
There it is. Joran says. That's what we should call it. Joran says, the corner.
All right. Next topic being.
Oh, it sounds like Doc wants to get onto something. What do you want to talk about there, Doc? He's clearly got show
Doc's
notes
like,
open.
move.
He's whited out. He's
the
looking
Phoenix
at a white
Emerald.
document.
Yeah, let's
So
pop in the
we
Phoenix
don't
Emerald.
really-
It's just a green phoenix, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
It's a good
Phoenix
looking
Emerald
Phoenix.
I hate green. It's funny because one of
It's
my
a
primary
pretty
companies
green.
is
It's a pretty
It's a
green.
nice green. It's emerald. Come on, it's beautiful.
pretty.
Pretty,
It's not
it
that
is pretty.
nice.
It's a gem
Doc.
color.
I thought it was very pretty.
It's like
a
St.
flat
Patrick's Day
green.
color.
It looks like my green screen. I don't know.
No, it doesn't. It's actually
Yes, it does.
It's a pretty
My
nice
friend
one.
has one. I've been on it multiple times. It looks like my green
Well,
screen.
just
Or
like
your
the green screen, the emerald that's supposed to be on the interior has disappeared when it goes live. So
There's no.
there's no color inside that's green. It's just the regular
No.
white. It's the regular Phoenix.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
regular phoenix, which is I mean, part of it. I don't like green. I mean, it's funny because, like I said, it's literally the primary company that I first started is the color of a green screen. But the whole point is like you look at it and you're like, if it's not different on the inside, I don't feel like I'm lucky on the outside.
Yeah.
I
I don't
I
like
saw-
it
Either way.
in third person.
I saw a picture of the Ursa in Emerald, and I thought it looked really.
That I
sharp.
think-
The Ursa looks really good.
I want
Yeah,
to get
it's
one.
nicely
the gray was
blocked out.
very boring, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think the green looks great.
Yeah.
I want to get one. Yeah, and actually,
Fortuna.
Rich in chat was asking, would it be possible in the future to all be in one big server?
Yeah.
Good, bad idea, and that's actually been discussed, and it's actually the
That's the
grand
plan.
goal, if possible.
Yeah,
And
that's the plan.
Aaron said about a little over a year and a half ago, that that's what they want to do, and that they're definitely envisioning hundreds of thousands of people in the same universe with
Yeah.
the server meshing, because with bind calling, if you're not visible, you're not in the same server. You're in different servers, but you're in the same universe. So if you travel from Hurston to ArcCorp to Microtech to the Pyro system to Terra to Earth, these other systems, you're on different servers in the same universe. So you're not having to log out and get into another server like you would in some other games. You literally just travel from this planet to that star system to that star system, and you're still in the same server as all of your friends.
Yeah, the trick is when it comes down to, let's say with EVE Online, you had Jita, which was the hub, the big hub where everybody spawned. It was the starter area in the game, and it was where all the major transactions came together, and you had tons of people, and so you get oversaturation of people in that one server. And many MMOs have dealt with this in different ways. Some of them will just instance you out. So you only have 50, or let's say it's 500 in the shorter term players on a server at a time. So you only have 500 that are in that area. So if you and a friend that are not partied fly in at one point, your friend might disappear to you. Other games did it where you could see people's names floating above them, but you didn't see them. So it was a way of reducing the server load, but you still kind of had people there. So it depends on how they want to do it.
Right, it's all data. It's all data stream. It's the fact of we deal with two things. One, latency. So when I go from Canada A to Australia, there's a lot of latency there. Or
Australia.
if I go to, A or A and A really. But anyway, no. The whole point is you start to think of that. It's there's the two things. There's latency, and there's just a flat out point of transmitting data, the actual size of the data. So when you got 50,000 players, even if it's one bit per player, that's 50,000 bits going over the network the whole time.
It depends on where you are. Because
it does.
If you're not visible, you're not necessarily handled by the same servers with the server meshing.
Okay, so I have a plan
what
for
they're
that.
saying is, like, if you're in an address, that address is handled by one server, and another address is another server, and then there's a master server that's keeping track of both of those servers. And a great point that Kimmy and I think also Eddie brought up is that there was a video just a few days ago, and I just posted it into the Yacht Club and also our group chat.
Dual
If
Universe.
you could bring that up, Stim, that was a great video from Dual Universe. 30,000 players simultaneously in
work.
the same server. It did work.
Working on it.
They just
No,
showed it.
it actually shouldn't work. I mean,
But
it should
it's
work.
working. They just did it.
It should.
They did
No,
it.
it should. It should.
Yeah, right.
So the whole key part about it is keeping the player meshed together in one server cluster, and then feeding out the data to each player. That way, it's their player actually connecting. It's their latency they have to do.
Yeah,
it's not the server.
Correct. It's the users.
Which something with Amazon should not be that hard.
But and that's why they're using Amazon Web Services. But
they got a really good deal.
Cheaper,
a lot of people, have been.
They got a good deal. That's why they're using Amazon.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
But this was pretty. It was pretty impressive. And Dual Universe has been talking about this for a year, and so a lot of us are watching the Dual Universe development as a parallel to Star Citizen's a single shard universe, because Dual Universe it's such a
it's nowhere near
down
the fidelity.
No, of course.
No,
I mean, we all know it's not the same fidelity.
But it's just a player walking in a direction. It's not a player popping.
Yeah, the data being sent is just the meta of what's going on, not every pixel being rendered.
But the point is
that's done client side.
They're what I call server coring, where you're actually gathering, multiple servers together and actually coring them together as one, because they're on a local, like InfiniBand used to be the big deal. Now it's, there's stuff that's way faster than InfiniBand. So you start to think of that, and let's just make all the players be on one server, and then everyone else connects to it, and it's only their performance to the cluster that matters. But then you spread the cluster out, and distance. Yeah, like Mike was just saying, and when the RTV, he's like, yeah, distance is that. But the whole point is if you actually core those servers together and then have a low latency between the two cores, you can do this. It's not impossible. Yeah. And with 2 million players, I mean, what's a player count out? It's 2 million something.
2.2.
So how many people are really going to be connected? So the Eve variable was 10%.
Well, the thing is that you're never going to have 10,000 people in a very close proximity.
Are you?
Unless you have a concert.
If you have a massive battle, like Operation Pitchfork, everyone wants to go and fight them, and it's going to be fairly condensed because that's the whole cinematic experience that Chris Roberts wants.
But let's talk about that. Okay, so you have 10,000 people, but each one is in a ship. So how many ships do you see? So, and how many are in rendering distance? I mean, if you have a ship, and think about in the verse right now, if you have a ship at 1,000 meters, because we've all dogfighted in the verse.
Yeah.
1,000 meters, they're basically a pixel. Right?
What? No, they're pretty detailed.
A few at 1,000 meters.
It's tracking it, right?
A Hornet.
A couple of pixels at like 10 or 12,000.
Yeah. At 1,000 meters, I mean, you don't see very. I mean, there are a few pixels, so you're not, and that's the whole point of the loss.
The levels of detail, yeah.
Levels of detail. So they scale it down to where you're only seeing a few pixels. So that's all that they're transmitting to your client from the server.
Data.
Like,
there's a few pixels. Down to data.
And so, but you're only having to render.
You're not transmitting pixels. That. All you're transmitting to the server is your location. Everything else is being rendered.
Yeah, it's a point. And that's what I mean.
Exactly.
It's
so
not,
the master server is tracking that.
Right.
They're not having to render that level of detail of an Idris, because that Idris at several thousand meters, you're seeing a very scaled down, minimal level of detail. Even if there's 50 to 100 people in that ship, you're only getting transmitted that location and what they're doing and how it affects your client.
Sure.
And they're on their own server in their Idris. So that's being handled by a server, and that's being transmitted to the master servers and then to your client, or however that works. Shadow.
Yeah. No, right? and it's as a layperson, all comes down to data.
Right?
It all comes down to data. Data costs money to move. It costs time. It costs. I mean, there's just a cost involved. So yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's
But-
So
it's all
it's
goes down to
very
it.
ambitious. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's very ambitious. And to see
this
what
is all
they
been-
can do, if we can get 50 interests in the same instance near each other, I'll be very surprised.
I
It
don't
won't
think
be.
it's going to be.
Like
Honestly,
that.
I really feel
Because-
like, and because I have an engine, there's a system that we're working on that's actually highly encrypted, and we can get about 30,000 consistent connections that it can actually do real stuff consistently, 30,000 updates per second. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but for a gaming company to do this as a gaming company versus a enterprise to do this as a business proposition, I think it's different.
So it sounds like it's a whole vertical on its own, really, to get that
It
going.
really
But I
is.
mean, so is
if you're
FOIP,
focused on
right? And
doing
so
just
so are a number of the technologies that CIG is groundbreaking on.
Yeah.
They were one of the first to go to Lumberyard, right? I mean,
Mhm.
who knows?
Which is
We saw
questionable
Google's
to begin with,
announcement for streaming video.
Not
Yeah.
bad, but yeah.
What if CIG announces in a few weeks that they're now I don't know how it works with Amazon and Google and if they can even move it over, but
Oh,
if
they could.
with Stadia, all of a sudden it's being
Money.
broadcast, right? And so we're streaming our game. And so now
I hope
hardware
not.
requirements go down and they've opened up the range of access to Star Citizen
Really
to
hope not.
the masses. Right? They might not be the best dogfighters in the world because of latency, but who knows? It sounds like the project's
Stadia
going really
works
well.
well if you have unlimited internet, and you have
Unlimited internet. Well, that's
really
the whole
fast
Microsoft.
internet.
That was the whole Microsoft freaking approach: unlimited RAM, unlimited CPU, unlimited cores, unlimited. Everything works great.
Right.
Well, it turns out
Yeah.
not all of
But
us have
doesn't-
that. In
doesn't
fact,
turn out to
more
work
than
that well.
63% of us have low end. I mean, it's not us, but you get
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Anyway,
Not me.
People,
yes, the study
Not-
announcement, very good.
not
very good.
not necessarily this group.
No, definitely not.
63% of
us.
us. That's probably not accurate.
I'm probably the lowest end of this group with my rig.
Oh, but Joran, we'll bring you up. Don't worry.
Yeah.
What are we going
Alright.
to talk about next? We're getting
Next.
along.
We'll be flying in your big ship. The lore post. Anybody read the lore post?
I read it earlier this evening. I scanned it, and
I feel like a
basically it
failure.
was something about Crusader Industries implementing better security because they're not doing a very good job of security around their planet and moons, and just kind of goes back to the whole topic of how the Stanton system, owned by the four corporations, ArcCorp, Hearst, and Microtech, and Crusader, each corporation owns their planet and their surrounding space, and they patrol it, and they don't do a very good job. So the Stanton system, which they consider a semi-safe system, isn't very safe. There's a lot of pirate activity. It's not very safe, and basically what they were talking about.
So we got a lot of people in chat here that are actually talking about things like the Google project and
Yes.
talking about how the tech would work. And so one guy, Eddie Hunter PT, asked Joran specifically, for example, the cloud tech that they're developing, can they sell that cloud tech? Chemi65
Well, they're not gonna sell it.
was
It's
saying
Google.
that they're
They're gonna
developing
sell it.
2 games, and they might be developing a whole engine as well as a universe as well as tool sets to be able to build out those universes.
There's been a lot of talk about CIG selling some of their tech because essentially they started working with the Crytek. They licensed the Crytek engine, and of course we all know about the silly, spurious lawsuit about that, which the Crytek was essentially bought out by Amazon for Amazon Web Services as Lumberyard. I guess they're 2 separate entities or divisions.
A lot of it, yes.
Right, but so Lumberyard, they essentially bought CryEngine, lock, stock, and barrel to use for themselves. So Crytek still has CryEngine to do what they want with, but Amazon owns their own version of the CryEngine, which they turned into Lumberyard and are sinking ridiculous amounts of money into to build out for the gaming industry, to build games on. And they have a tremendous partnership with Cloud Imperium games, or Cloud Imperium. I'm not sure what they're going by right now. They've been changing their branding. But a lot of things that CIG has done has been custom built on the bones of the CryEngine, which is Lumberyard. Taking a 32-bit engine and making it 64-bit was a huge thing.
It's huge
So,
undertaking.
and that's still proprietary to CIG, which they could license that, whatever it was
I'm pretty
they
sure
did.
that Lumberyard is 64-bit, and they
Or
No,
maybe,
it is. I
Or,
know.
or maybe Amazon did that themselves.
they
So-
no, they used the code that Star Citizen. That was part of the deal with Star Citizen merging with Amazon using Lumberyard.
Like,
was
I-
that
I
they were
haven't-
going to feed they're going to
there
feed
was going to
updates
be
to Lumberyard.
technical sharing. I haven't read I haven't seen any published details of those licensing agreements, but I assume that probably there's some of that for CIG to get a lot of extra support from Amazon, AWS, Lumberyard, for CIG sharing some of the things that they've done. I think that there's non-monetary reciprocals that that are happening there. I don't see CIG necessarily selling this stuff on the open market.
No, I don't either. I mean,
There's a
in
lot
it
of
to win
conjecture
it.
about that, and
Yeah.
I think it's totally unnecessary. CIG really doesn't need money. I mean, their funding is steady; it's growing. And people say it's like, oh well, they only have enough money to go for a year if they don't get any more money.
Yeah, but let's not go down that rabbit
We're
hole.
not, we're not That's another show.
Okay, on to the next question. So lightning round was mentioned at one point. I like that idea. So question was put through, answered for anybody to answer. The question is, I wonder if they will sell shuttle transport to folks as a concept.
No.
And that was asked by
How would you sell
MK19
that,
Monkey.
How
Shuttle.
would you sell that? I mean,
So
would it be
let's-
like?
I mean,
Provide?
they already have in some instances.
Shuttle
They sold
concept?
the Argo personnel.
Yeah, so I remember Ben Lesnick, the most reliable source, telling us that. Sorry, I don't yeah.
Good plug. Good plug.
Yeah, telling us that we wouldn't have to worry about transporting our
Ben.
ships around. That there would,
We love Ben.
We do love Ben. We really do love Ben.
Ben.
It's a bit of a meme at this point, right? Just they've changed the story on him a lot. Anyway, so Ben was saying that you wouldn't have to worry about transporting your own ships. You would be able to pay a service to transport your ships. And we've kind of heard in discussion them mention a couple of times that you may be able to put out a call and a service
like
will
that
deliver
has to
your ship
happen.
out to your Endeavor Hope if you're in a battle.
Yeah, I
Right.
feel like that has to happen at some point. I mean, there's some people in this game who might have a few ships, and we may want them moved around. We don't have to do it on our own. So I'm pretty much convinced that everyone watching this is one of those people. So, yeah. Anyway, that's the whole thing, right? I mean, you kind of hope there really is. And you know what the great part is? It's like in my infancy, I used to be a valet. Let me tell you, I was a valet in Boca, which we were talking about earlier.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
Not a bad job. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll move those
They
cars.
tipped.
So, but that's, I mean, I'll move your 890, sure. So
Yeah.
yeah,
They talked about setting beacons to have
Mhm.
NPCs or players transport your ships. So just
Mhm.
like we're having beacons now, for the Uber beacons, and pick me up, take me to such and such, you'll be able to set a beacon. It's like I'm at such and such somewhere. I'm in Cassell in the Goss system, and
terrible place to be.
yeah, well, which most jump owners hang out most of the time there when they're not traveling around. It's like it's like I left my something or another in the Terra system. Could somebody bring that to me? You put out your beacon, and 20,000 UEC, transport your ship. Somebody goes over there, they pick it up, they bring it to you. They have a good reputation as a ship transporter. It's like,
Yeah. And then you build a
reliable.
reputation in that field. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's how everything really happens with the contract system. It's like you have a reputation.
It's just
Like-
going to be like any other beacon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I
Just
think we
use
got to be
it because
careful
people
because the word beacon is interchangeable for contract here. I mean, beacon to me is like, you know,
Correct.
I need help.
It's
Beep
a contract.
beep. You know, you put a beacon. Well,
Yeah,
really, it's
but
about
that's not
contracts.
how
And
they-
Right.
when are
It's a
we going to
contract.
get updated contracts? And I think it's going to. This question comes. I get this question quite a bit. Is when are we going to get the updated contracts so that we can do org operations and pay things out in the ways we want to do it? And I think that's going to take a while. First of all, I think we're getting contracts coming in the next few patches. I don't know when because I don't know the roadmap as well that well. But it's going to take probably a couple of years before they iron that out, and that's the kind of implementation where you
Years.
need
I
to
don't
have a
think
lot
it's
of
that long.
feedback
Yeah,
from the community.
Yeah, you're right. Well, no, it's actually doing it, right? Going through
Yeah.
and watching players go through it, watching go through the cycle, and then finding all the places that just
It would be
terrible.
great if people
Yeah,
used them
and then
now,
refining it
but
so
people
that
don't use
it's
them.
an elegant solution, and
Well,
the
people
user
use
experience is
transfer
good for
options all the
everybody
time.
over and over again.
I know, but they don't use them anymore. I've been on live many times, and I don't see any pop up. People are always just in chat saying, "Go pick me up from here," and I'm like,
Yeah,
"Beacon
I
it.
Irish.
I'm not doing it for free."
I don't see that many dispatch. No, I agree. But in
Beacon
3.3, in 3.3, Ubering was
Uber.
one of Uber was one of the biggest
Yeah,
Citizen. Uber
jobs.
citizen.
And
nope,
it's
Stuber.
like rides all the time. And I used it several times where
Spliffed.
I ended up crashing my ship accidentally, and it's like I couldn't get out. And I set a beacon,
Yeah.
and somebody would come pick me up and take me to some outpost or where it
The
was.
last time I even used a beacon for "Come Pick Me Up," nobody answered it. We sat there for like 30 minutes.
Aw,
Nobody.
And maybe that's why people are
they
using
knew who
chat,
they
right?
were.
'Cause it's
Maybe they knew who
Yeah.
you
it's
were.
bigger.
Yeah, well,
It's the implementation right now of how it is in the game.
beard
you
kind
have
of
to use
scares
chat
people.
and beacons.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's like talking chat. It's like, hey, I need to pick up. I'm going to set a beacon, and that's what I did. It's like I
Yeah, that's what I did
I
too.
wasn't paying attention. I crashed my 600 into Levski, and it's like, and I can't get up. I'm upside down. Can somebody come pick me up? It's like, okay, I'll set a beacon. And somebody says, it's like, sure, I'll come pick you up. And so I set a beacon because also when they get a beacon, they see your location.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
set a beacon. They came pick me and Mystic up. We were over there, crashed, and took us over to Delamar. Took me to Levski. Took us to Levski and called the ship and took off. And
Yeah.
it worked great.
But
Yeah,
like
they
one of
work,
our guys
but
in
they
here
need to be used
says,
more often.
one of our guys in here, Citizen Lou, says pickups are an easy way to get killed by the person you're picking up, and it makes total sense, right? We don't have
depends on the
that.
ship.
There's a
It
whole
depends on the ship.
It's the
there.
reputation system, though, which we don't have, right?
We don't have.
If you're talking in chat, you might be able to ratify the person a little bit by chatting back and forth to some degree.
That's why the 85X was the number one Uber ship, because you can pick somebody up and they
Yep.
can't shoot you.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. So a
It
lot
still
of
has a gun on it.
Now, right?
No. When you're flying and you go to pick somebody up in your 85X and they get in to the passenger seat, they can't
Oh.
shoot you.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
Yeah,
so
right.
in 3.3, the
Huh.
85X became the number one Uber ship.
that's a
Yeah.
whole
Yeah, it really
microcosm I
was.
was not
Oh,
aware of.
That's like a
Obviously,
25-cent
that's-
word, microcosm. Good job.
Obviously, not spending enough
All
time.
right,
It's
moving
just
on to
me.
the next.
Right, next question. Yeah, this is hardly lightning rounds.
Oh,
is it?
yeah. Next question. What's the next
Okay.
They suck at lightning rounds.
Thank you, T Nightster, by the way, for keeping the
Yeah.
calmness
Thanks, T
of
Nightster.
the storm.
Next question. Is there a way to bind Star Citizen to a VR headset for head tracking? Only interested
We
in
talked
the
about
tracking
this.
so I can look around. Okay, we
don't
kind of
know,
okay.
did
We
kinda covered that a little bit. Yeah,
we
okay.
touched on that earlier.
So on to the next one. So Star Citizen keeps saying it
I
wants to
answered
use
the
my
drawing,
GTX
I
745 over my GTX 1050 Ti, thinking it is more powerful.
What?
Interesting. So he's obviously got two
So they're
cards.
SLI, yeah.
Well, no,
I
they
don't
can't
know
be
how
SLI
SLI
if they're different
Two
cards.
different ones. Yeah.
Wait,
So-
Glitch is in chat, I think.
Yeah. I
so
saw that
is this a
question pop
bug?
up.
This is
and-
from Glitchy the Dragon.
No, so there was a couple things with being able to use physics
That's an
processor on
NVIDIA
another processor.
Yeah,
not like
That's
on
an
different-
NVIDIA setting.
Yeah.
In the NVIDIA experience,
yeah.
you can
Yeah,
turn
that's
that on to use your secondary GPU as your physics processor. It's a little tricky. You probably YouTube it if you want to find out how to do that. But your problem is also in NVIDIA experience where it's choosing to use the
Which I hate.
975 or the 795 or whatever.
Seven
instead of the
45.
250.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just go in there, Google it, get some YouTube
Yeah,
tutorials on how to
totally
futz
possible.
with it.
I like
Okay.
the next question.
Next question. So, guys, what are the preferred of popular controls from budget, mid-range, and high-end for everybody on the show?
The actual physical joysticks that I'm working.
Control types.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I have budget controls. I'm on a budget dual stick. I have right hand Logitech Extreme 3D Pro, which was $40. I have a left hand Thrustmaster 16,000 T16000M, which was $50. So for $90, I have two joysticks, and they work pretty darn well.
And now I'll back that up because before I got my Virpils, I actually used the 1600 TMs both left and right because they come with both sides and they were really solid. I mean,
The 16,000s
I moved
are
to the Virpils
super
with,
solid. So you're
with
at the high
the-
end now with
Yeah,
Well,
he's
you
done a
know-
switch over.
Okay, so let me prove a point here because I love the sticks. I hate the grips. I
Really?
don't like hat control. And this is great. So Saren and Jump Club, great conversation with.
Everybody loves the
They're hat controls, right? I mean, when you're in the heat
A
of
lot of hat
battle, you
controls
want
on
to be
those,
like
yeah.
trying to manipulate. I mean, there's three hat control. Actually, there's four on the deltas, which is what he uses. I love the delta on the left stick, but on the right stick, I feel like it's overcomplicated. But no, I mean, I'm not okay. I will just go to saying this. I'm not impressed with any of the sticks that are out right now.
Yeah, me
No.
either.
Yeah.
I really not. Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Doc. That guy.
Yeah, it's just
Oh yeah.
there,
So
there's some
yeah.
new ones that are
So
coming
these-
out that look
No,
like
go
they
ahead,
have some. They have some promise, I suppose.
Uh-huh.
But right now, they're not making the joysticks for Star Citizen. They're not making them for space simulators. The ones that have been made for space simulators are kind of crummy, like the 85 or the 65.
Yeah, it's still a
whatever that is.
fairly early market. I mean, Space Sims,
The 56.
they've
Sorry.
been around for a
So-
while, but they've been more like EVE Online, and Elite Dangerous has been like the first real foray into.
Holy fuck! How many
into
fucking
a-
hats are?
Yeah,
That's a
this
lot.
Is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
that's
It's
enough.
like, so this is the hat control on the Delta.
Are there any
Nice.
It's
buttons?
purple. It's hat. All three
That's
of
a
these
hat
are
there.
hat. And then this is a stick. And this,
Yeah,
I mean,
but
come
people
on.
really
I
like
mean,
that mouse
when you
wheel
want-
for zooming in and out.
When you want to like shoot people, you want to click a button, right?
Yeah.
You wanna
yeah.
do
I
something.
thought, like,
You don't want to have to do like,
But-
oh, okay, I'm going to map this to that and this and that and this. Because when you're like steering all around and doing crazy shit, you don't have to. I mean, I fly drunk. Clear.
You're never
But, I
drunk.
mean, come on. So, hat control's bad. Purple,
No.
Yeah.
Hat control's good.
pay attention. No, on the left stick, maybe, but a right stick, no.
Yeah, but you know what?
That's
If
right.
you're more zen and you're not freaking out when you're flying, you should have
It's
that
not their
control.
fault. You bought the wrong
Be able to go up,
joystick.
down,
Holy
left, right.
I mean,
So,
so yell out on chat. What do we
let
think
me
about
answer. Let me answer mine real quick. I use dual T16000Ms. They are budget sticks, but until
The mount.
I find the mount's awesome.
mount
These
that
Monster
makes them
Tech mounts
awesome.
are fantastic. I
mount
will
is
eventually
5
go
times
to
as
a
high.
better
I
stick,
personally
but once
tested
we
those.
find what the default stick is everybody really likes, it's a better stick. I see some people talking about having the Warthog. You know, I have the Warthog, but once you go twist, like you can't go back.
I
And
didn't
so
realize
until
Warhawk didn't have
Twist.
But
twist.
you go dual
no,
stick.
it doesn't have twist, but it's a great, nice, meaty stick, and to have a really nice feeling heavy stick that
Alright,
that
alright,
that
so
returns
the
really
Warhawk-
well and is really snappy. It's really tough. It's hard to
250
engineer.
It's $250 for the Warhog.
Yeah,
It was
All right,
like
Yeah.
how much is the Virpil?
The Deltas?
I don't know.
Shadow?
I never look at the price.
Like,
Yeah,
like,
I-
they're- like-
I don't know.
They're like
it's in the same range. It's in the same range.
Yeah,
I don't know
right,
the
right.
exact
So-
amount.
so-
I have no idea.
so the Warhog is essentially
I have the same problem, Shadow.
last decade technology.
Bye.
I
The,
want that.
right?
Yes,
And the-
that.
I mean, for $250, $300, if you're going to spend that kind of money on a stick,
Right.
the Virpil is the way to go. 100%.
But
Well,
this
you can't handle that many
this
switches.
is a beautiful stick. I mean, it just feels amazing.
I had one of those, yeah, but I mean,
Oh,
it's
It just doesn't
you know,
twist.
I almost, but it's
Good.
it's this the handle that drives it. Now flip it around, flip it around,
Twist. It doesn't twist.
You talking
It's
about
not
this
twist.
guy?
flip it around. Yeah, and look how many hats on there. There's
Yeah.
4 or 3. One on the top right, left, and then bottom left.
Yeah.
Why do we need so many damn hats?
To
I just don't understand
trigger
it.
too.
Possible.
You know, because there's a lot to control, and
Yeah, you
targeting
can do a lot of
is good for
control.
hats.
Yeah,
Shield
targeting.
maneuvers is good for
Wish I could
hats.
show you, Yes, but I've
Shields,
created like a
targeting.
game glass
Honestly,
interface.
For me, I cannot keep track of that much shit. Like,
Right. Thank you, brother Joe.
I get so freaking confused if
Thank
I
you,
have
Brother
too
Joe.
many controls. Like my mouse, like so I have the G602, and it has 6 buttons on the side. And I've seen
Yeah.
some of these mice that they have like 20 buttons on the side.
Yeah, I can't handle it either.
I don't use any
I
of
like
these
a
side buttons.
simple mouse.
Like,
Nice
When I
wireless.
played Mech Warrior Online, I used 2 of these buttons. Out of 6, I used
You're
2.
dang young kids.
Yeah,
I can't-
hey, young kids,
I
you
can't-
and your beers and your
And your
yeah.
extra buttons
like
on your
all those
controllers.
buttons and controls. It's like, you kids, where's my stick? Shake my stick.
The whole point is, I mean, when I'm writing interfaces, because I have 3
I
tablets
cannot
that
keep
sit in
track
front
of
of me. Yeah, when I have 3 tabs in front of me, there's a picture for what I wanted to do. Kill this person. Boop.
It's
Done.
like I
Or,
I,
you know what I mean?
I need my references, and then
Oh, yeah, nice. No, you
and then
need
I
a
have-
keyboard map. Remember
and
from
then
like the
I have
original.
one for I have one for my
Commander?
sticks too, because if I don't have my freaking reference, I don't know what the fuck anything does. I don't. I can keep track of like 3 buttons. That's about it.
Just
All right,
talking
let's
very
move
quickly about the Warthog. I can't remember if it was VKB. I think it was VKB, not Virpal, that has been saying for ages that they're coming out with a twist base.
Forever.
That was the other one. Yeah.
So who's that?
Forever.
It was like before Virpal took over. So it was Warthog, and then VKB, and then Virpal took over.
No,
the market.
Warthog is
Right?
is Thrustmaster, just like the T16,000.
Yeah, VKB at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think
VKB's abandoned that and went to make their own joysticks.
Right.
They make
They
their
went
own.
and did their own thing. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a whole lot of chat that we haven't seen
And
it.
there
yet,
is
so.
there is
Either
something
way,
to be said about
hasn't happened
joysticks
yet.
without twist controls, because twist controls can be bad for fine maneuvers.
You
So,
think?
yeah, lots of people,
I really
myself
appreciate
included,
it.
prefer non-twist control joysticks to twisty one.
I love twist. I
Well,
love twist.
I'd rather have.
Playing-
It's when
I'd
you're
rather
like
have a
Playing
cheaper
twist
doing
feels
that severe
organic.
maneuver.
It feels fantastic. You
Oh.
know, so I play a little bit of Elite Dangerous,
It
and
was-
you know, you come into
No,
a docking
you're
station, you
high.
line up, you do the whole 2001 line up with the rotation. You go and you land, and it feels just beautiful experience. I don't even feel like I'm actually
Right
moving my hands. It's just my brain is doing all the work. It's amazing.
Yeah,
know,
it's
it's-
a good thing you don't have any hair to keep it in the heat.
It's all
I'm starting
ESP.
to agree with you.
I got to tell CIG to use the real ESP. You know, you got to shave your head. It helps.
That's right.
Okay, next question, guys. Next question.
Yes, next question.
Did you guys see the new Virpal stick that Nubifier just released a video about, supposedly built for Space Sim? So I did see it.
No, I haven't.
Is that different from what everybody's using, or is it the same one?
It's probably the same one that everybody's using already.
Clarify. Can we
A
get
lot,
chat
a lot of
clarify
people
on
are
that?
buying it.
What is it?
Everybody's buying the Virpal stick, so I
I'll
mean,
see
I
if
don't
I
know which one
can.
it is.
I'll see if I can put it up on the
It's-
screen here. Hold on.
Everybody's on the
It'll take a
waiting
while.
list to buy verbal sticks.
Yes,
is what you mean.
That's true.
What stick? Because I have verbal sticks. If it's better than the one I have, I want. No, it's the base.
Yeah, it's-
I did see this.
It's just the base. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the mongoose.
Oh, it's just the
base.
base.
Which
Yeah.
I mean, I have to say is better, but
It's
That's
the
not the
Mongoose
problem.
50 flight stick base successor.
yeah, flight stick base. But I mean, I tell you, the one that I have, the word is freaking still amazing.
Yeah.
That's not the problem. They need like many more sticks to or what do they call them? Grips.
So that's them there.
Yeah. But don't get me wrong, great engineering, probably awesome. And that was a really nice thing too, is the way that they actually engineer and attach to the desk. Very cool stuff. But that's not the problem. That was
Yeah.
never the problem. They need to focus on like multiple sticks.
And more hat switches.
More hat switches.
You know what? I'm gonna fly over there tonight and cut you.
What we need right now
Give me
is a little bit more hat
18
switch.
buttons on a stick. I don't care. I don't want
need-
fucking hat
I need
controls.
extra struts in my Connie.
Yes,
and
exactly.
extra hat
That's
switches
it.
on my
Hat
switch.
controls are like struts
That's
for
that's
freaking Star
that's,
Citizen
that's
shit.
the new the cowbell of Star Citizen.
Yes,
More cowbell, more hat switches.
Hats, yes, hats and struts. They all
Hats and
go down.
struts.
Okay, next question. So I'm sorry we don't really know more about the Virpil base, but
Next question.
before we jump into it, I was in the Game Glass Alpha release. Noobifier jumped into that, and we ended up talking a lot about different controls. He really knows his stuff. So
Controls.
yeah. No, well,
There's more of that
he's
Canadian
analyzing the
camaraderie.
hardware. He's doing reviews on the hardware. He's he works in the military and probably has access to talk to people about it. He takes them apart. He cleans them. He's a overall sort of technical kind of guy. So anyway, he's got some great suggestions.
Great with peripherals and controls. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. A messy question. What do you guys think in carrot size reduction? What do you think about carrot size reduction and motives they give since we have a big yacht?
Carrick didn't get reduced in size. It grew by 2 meters. Like
2 meters only, though. So it was going to be a whole bunch bigger. There was for a while it was going to be way bigger.
It was going to be 155 meters. And
yeah, for a minute.
Yeah, a long minute.
Yeah, and then they realized it doesn't need to be that
Most of
big, so they
Yeah.
shrunk it back to its original size, and then it grew by 2 meters. So
Yeah, but only
it
2 meters.
So
Only 2 meters.
I think the Carrack is perfect in its
Yep.
role and its size, and it's fantastic. And that
I do.
there are
Yeah.
far too many people in the community that only want huge, massive ships.
Yeah. Plus,
They're size
another
queens.
thing is it gives you that smaller landing pad requirement than like
Yeah.
the 890 jump.
100%. It's you're able to go
And
faster.
it's going to be
more
easier to
maneuverable.
go in and out of atmosphere. Like,
Yep.
yeah.
Oh,
You want
let's
it
not even
smaller.
talk about that.
You wanted it smaller. You didn't want
Take
it
off
bad.
from Lorville
It's
3 weeks
going to be
later.
a much more capable explorer, 100%, because too many people think in terms of Elite Dangerous or Eve or these other games where it's like, or Star Wars or some crazy sci-fi where it's like they just want the biggest, most massive thing possible. Like the
Next
the jump-
question.
the Jump Club guys are notorious for this. It's like we want it bigger. We want it's like the Javelin. All right, what's bigger than the Javelin? All right, what's bigger? What's bigger than the 890? We want something. We want something bigger. It's like it's so hard. I mean, anybody who flies a 600 out of Hurston's atmosphere doesn't ever want to do it again.
Yes.
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 Great idea of doing it. And
That's
they're
that's a good thing that it
I
didn't
am
grow.
never doing that
Yeah.
ever
And they
again.
were saying that in the ATV. They were saying it's a good thing it didn't grow, and you'll be happy
Yeah,
about it.
and
Now we kind of know
the
why, right? Because it takes
Starfarer, the
forever to get
Reclaimer,
an atmosphere.
Just fly the Reclaimer out of Lorville a couple times. Just do that a
Yeah.
couple times and tell me if you still
Like,
want a massive size.
You will never do it again.
Carrack.
Never,
Exactly,
ever,
because it
Never,
takes
ever.
30 fucking minutes.
And,
Well, I
and,
mean,
and
it
there's,
takes-
there's a great reason why the 890 Jump has a hangar for a snub ship, so you can leave
Yep.
it in orbit and fly down in your 350R.
Yes. Whether it's a 350R or whether it's an 85X or whatever you use, but
Yeah,
the 350R
whatever
really
you
is the right
use,
ship.
but
Clearly.
I rarely am going to take my 890 in an atmosphere because
Lightning
It's a
crash.
bitch.
Next question.
So we've got a question. There's a couple of questions that came in from the website that I wouldn't mind going over. So this one is open for everybody. So the question is, what single feature or group of features or add-ons to Star Citizen, whether it's server meshing, a new ship, etc., will have the biggest impact on Star Citizen in terms of gameplay, oh my god, gameplay or immersion or faster development of what Star Citizen is intended to be? So single feature or group of features that will have the
Server
most
meshing.
impact.
Hands down.
Okay, so let's say next one. What is
Not
the
a hard-
second biggest feature or group of features?
Persistence.
Well, I mean, we know that's going to happen, right? It has to happen.
It's still needed. It's still a new coming
Yeah, it's
feature.
still needed, but it's
Yeah.
going to happen. It has to happen.
So is
So-
server meshing.
So anything
Well,
questionable?
It's just
But
amount of
both
people.
both of those are more than a year away.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how long it is away. It's a requirement of, is it going to happen?
And how
Well,
big of
it's
an
not
impact
gonna
it's going to
happen.
have.
It'll happen.
It's
know it'll
it's going to
happen.
happen in time. I mean,
Yeah.
like we talked about earlier. I mean, they're iterating tremendously every patch.
Lou adds a good point there. Server meshing is pointless because they don't ask systems. Content's
Well,
easy. Yeah, but content's
You know,
once
so
they get
I
that
agree and I
working,
disagree.
Content's fun.
So-
Content's
Yeah.
fun.
We can have server meshing in one system with four
Exactly.
star systems, with four planets.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
Which is
when
what
we
we're
start
gonna
talking
do.
about persistence, let's go down this rabbit hole just a little bit. So when you talk about persistence, people are
Highlighting
questioning,
that
you know,
rabbit hole.
when the game releases or goes
Rabbit
from,
hole.
you know, goes to persistence and to beta and a full sort of release end, you know, when is the game considered released? Anyway, I had this like a very light debate in a Discord chat, and we were talking about when is the game considered released. And I don't personally think
Now?
and well, that's the thing, right? So
Released now.
1.0?
we've seen an evolution
Yeah.
of games like Conan, what's another game, like No
You
Man's
can
Sky,
compare the-
you know, where you have these
Maybe
pre-releases
also
coming
alpha.
out, and they release them over
Yeah.
time, and they intentionally release
this is-
things incomplete.
This is-
76,
This is a
Apex,
different animal,
Anthem.
though.
It really is. This is a very unique animal. I
Yeah,
completely agree.
it's-
This is like
It's
nothing
released
else that's ever.
now.
Yeah, but in
there's more
2012, they didn't have the concept of, you know, kind of Kanban waterfall release of video games,
Right.
and then DLCs and growth. Like they had it, but it wasn't
Yeah,
really
they did.
mainstream. Yeah,
Yeah.
but now, you know, flash forward
everything
another
is
6 years,
released.
and that's almost the norm, unless you're a AAA EA title. You know that you're going to
But
screw it up and
even-
launch it early.
Even the AAA games like Fallout 76. What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Thanks, George.
Again,
No, that
we've
was-
got a publisher that has pushed things
and-
early, right?
And,
Right.
and Anthem, Apex. I mean, all maybe not Apex. I mean, I don't play any of these, but you know,
Yeah,
from
they're
being
cheaters'
sure what's going on
paradise.
there.
Yeah. Mhm.
But like Anthem, people are complaining. It's like, you know, it's like there's hardly anything there. I mean, it looked like it was going to be amazing, but it's there's only like 20 hours of content, maybe if that.
Yeah, well,
It's
these are
super
mostly
repetitive.
battle royale games.
I don't know, but
The
I mean,
whole point
a
is
lot of these games that come out, and that they're released so early because they're rushing them out, and there's so little to play. And right now in Star Citizen, there's so much to do and so many such a huge amount of space to explore, and like Rex talks about, like it's playable right now. He's having 50-man battles for hours every night, and I'm flying
I totally agree.
in Star Citizen every night for 2 or 3 hours, flying around
Yeah.
doing all kinds of stuff. I mean, it doesn't get old.
We gotta
because
hurry up so I can go test
Nothing like
3.5.
So Timbalara
Goddamn
in
you.
chat says it's released when the basic tiers of all gameplay loops are in, and that's his take or her take. And I'm, you know,
Him or her.
well, you
No.
got to be politically correct, and I don't want to make any assumptions, or maybe non-binary associative. I mean, you know,
Got another
I
beer open.
really don't want to make
No,
assumptions.
so two things. So Pixel, the guy in chat, I know a friend of mine, and he has like 1 billion games across Steam, Origin, all these fucking clients, and he's a huge gamer. And I think he's a great person to ask, just because you get into a point where how many games are released before they're actually ready, right? And
all of them.
all of them, exactly.
seems that
And then
way.
you get the few like AAA games. I mean, and I use that very loosely because I don't feel like
That's kind
Apex
of-
Legends is a true AAA game. I feel like it's just another battle royale game. But the whole point is we go back to it. Is like we knew
Depends how
this
you
was an
define
alpha.
AAA, I guess.
Well, I mean, we knew
You talk about
this was-
adoption, it's quadruple A
think-
easily.
we're in an alpha. This is an alpha. So, but I mean, look at in perfect example.
But
is
it's a
what
released
Rexel is.
alpha.
Yeah, but it's look at what Rexel is doing every single day. What 5-6 times a week? He's doing something different.
7
Yeah.
days a week.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's a
4 or 5
real
hours a day.
game. We can do really cool stuff with
you
it.
can do as much
Yeah.
or more than almost any other game out there, and
Right.
as a sci-fi simulation, There's nothing like it.
Right.
Sure.
Exactly. Even if only
Sure.
50 players.
We're getting off topic. Next
Still
question.
super cool.
No.
Anyway.
But we're talking about things like gameplay loops,
same
right?
topic.
And when is the game released? Well, they talk about the Endeavor not
We
being a
answered
ship
that
that comes
question.
out way later. And so
okay. I'm
the
all right.
Endeavor will have
Get
a
the
lot more of
Endeavor
that
right.
science stuff. Anyway, what I'm trying to get to is I don't think necessarily that the gameplay loops will all be in before we have some really good playable material. We've got some now, and you've got people like Rexzilla that are actually putting together a lot of fun content. But and we'll see actually what happens with 3.5, the new flight model. Might get a
Doesn't
lot
that
more
define
engagement.
game, though?
But once that persistence is in, when is Operation Pitchfork going to actually happen? Because that's supposed to happen just
We need to
before
have
it goes
Vegas
to release,
So-
right? So, so
where
we
you're-
need some kind of guidance from
Yeah.
CIG as to what's happening and what's changing. And I'd like to see
No,
some feedback on that.
There's no way that Operation Pitchfork's going to happen before we go final wipe, because I'm going
I
to
don't know
guess that whole system isn't going to exist until after we go final wipe.
I don't see
Triggerfish?
things happening the way people
Triggerfish.
Triggerfish.
Triggerfish and Jet.
Initially envision that, but I mean, Spectre has a good point that Witcher 3 is the only game that I know that was perfect at launch, and
What?
Dude,
The
there's
game
no
was
such
garbage
thing as
at
a
launch.
game
I don't know what it was at launch, but
Garbage.
I
Hot garbage.
Okay, so but I think that it's extremely telling that the development timeline and process and communications of CD Projekt Red right now with Cyberpunk 2077 that's got the same timeline as Star Citizen, announced 2012, and we've started to see some glimpses of what's going on. But they're keeping everything under wraps except for that one 45-minute playthrough that they've been saying recently. It's like they're not going to release it until it's perfect because they're seeing what everybody else is doing and they don't want to do that. They want to make sure that they have it perfect and
Wait, what
polished.
game is this?
And
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, that's gonna be.
It looks
Anyway.
it looks amazing.
No, it looks amazing.
And people were saying it's like, okay, so at E3 we saw this amazing playthrough. It's like it looks like it's done. And they said it's like, no, we're nowhere near done. We have so much more to do. We're not going to release it until we're done. And then there was an interview a couple of weeks ago, and this dev was saying it's like, it's such a messy process developing a game that we'll put out something that we want to do, and then we'll scrap it, and then we'll do other stuff, and then we'll come back to it, and we'll revive it, and then we'll scrap it again, and then we'll bring it back, and we'll scrap again. Like 3 or 4 times, they'll have things they want to do, and they'll completely scrap them, bring them back, redesign them, and that's what Star Citizen does. And people bitch about that because it's all out.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
In the open. I mean, it's the only project that does that, where you're actually seeing the game developed in all of its messy glory and excitement. It's like, it's a buggy mess and things work, and then they fuck stuff up.
Someone doesn't know about RimWorld. Or Dwarf Fortress.
I don't.
Good point. Dwarf
I don't.
Shut your pie hole.
But I think it's
Literally developed in front of people.
was it?
Okay, next
Yeah, it
question.
was,
Next
actually.
question.
Okay.
Okay, next question. Go.
Do you guys know of any throttle systems? So going back to the discussions we had about peripherals, like throttle
Read this
systems.
question. Know the answer.
Okay,
No,
well,
about it.
so the question is, any throttle systems that have the 50% notch? So the notch that's halfway through,
That's
that
a great
is what
question,
the new
I
flight model is supposed to be, where if it stops that
feeler.
notch,
It's like a
that's
feeler,
0.
right?
No,
Behind
most
that
of the
is
hotels-
reverse, and in
Don't
front of
most
that
of
is
the hotels
forward.
have that? Most of the hotels have that center point.
Well, the
They don't have, like,
T16000
a-
doesn't.
They don't have like a dead spot or a click in the
They don't.
middle where you know
Yeah.
you're in the middle. I think one of the high-end
weird.
Thrustmaster ones does, and I think the Vipral one does. One of the dual.
I don't have.
It's
either,
usually
so.
it's usually the ones that have dual sticks on the throttle. So you have 2 throttle sticks, and they'll have a middle point as well.
Right. I thought those like dual throttle were for
Well,
different
okay,
engines.
Here's more of an interesting question: is I mean, you start to think about war in a space simulator versus a air simulator. it's not about where 50% is. It's where 0 is, and then where you go back, like reverse. Right? I mean, I think that's more important.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
we're
Oh God, Stim just
0
disappeared.
Yeah. It's gonna be different the way the flight model is anyways. You're not
We're
gonna want to be
pilotless.
using the throttle.
Pilot.
Was that the last question? I think we're done. What did you guys do to Step?
He,
I know.
I pushed this button and he disappeared.
Dude,
I'm
what do you do, man?
I'm gonna push it again.
It was
See
an
if it comes
eject button. Obviously, it was not Drake.
Damn it!
They don't have eject.
Yeah, no. If it was Drake, he would have just exploded.
I thought he did.
Oh, see, I pushed the button, he came back.
Ah, it was your
There
button.
he is.
I needed more
your
beer,
button.
lads. More beer. So
I pushed the.
I've opened up a
Oh, here we
Rail
go.
Ale Nut Brown.
Holy shit, that's a real beer. What is that?
Rail Ale.
It's
Nut
from How
Brown.
Sound Brewing, which is
Dude,
our
that
local microbrewery.
sounds
Holy crap! That's like
questionable.
it's like a liter of beer there.
Well, there's always tomorrow.
Rail Ale, dude.
Ooh,
I
it's
left
dark.
a lot of good stuff
Hey, we-
at
It
your
is
we
house.
can go-
dark.
We
Wow.
can go for another hour.
Bob, I left
No, we
a lot
cannot.
of good scotch at your house.
I know,
go
but you
to
know
bed.
what? If I drink them all straight away, I won't have any left. So
Bob, I'll
I'm
send
tasting those
more.
scotches. Oh, those scotches are fantastic, Shadow.
I could send more. That's what I'm here for.
Shadow
I
has
do
an
one
in-
thing well, and it's this.
I don't know. Dr. Murray's been waiting for his for a while, so I worry that they might take.
Yeah, well,
Dr. Murray is
Doc
desperate
can
to actually
afford
go
his own
Evocati
scotch.
himself away.
Yeah.
Unless
Anyway,
they do.
So,
where are we at next? So
next question.
Let's
Okay.
switch to our three person thing. We'll just go for another hour.
Okay, so that's
You guys would
pretty
be lost
much
without
it
me.
for questions.
Yeah, that was the question.
Are there any questions in chat?
I didn't see any more.
chat.
Nightster, do we have any more questions?
Dr. C. Knight, sir, thank you so much for helping us out.
Tina Hester,
He keeps
You're
the
a champ.
calm in the
we
chat.
appreciate you.
Yeah.
Negative. Very
He
nice.
keeps us
Well,
flowing
I feel
properly.
like-
Oh, Club Toast.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, clink. Everyone up. Drinks up.
Clink.
Drinks up. Clink.
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 Oh,
Cheers,
yeah.
gentlemen. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, citizens.
I need to go drink some beer.
It's been a
Here's
great,
one. I found a question.
It's been a great time.
So,
we have a question.
We do. It's from Rum Runner 82. Great name. So Origin ships are known for not having many entrances. How many is there on the 890 jump? Also, is there good choke points near them?
What?
That
Oh,
sounds
I didn't
like
I
a
don't know if you
defending your
know.
890, hunkering
You cut
down.
out.
Do we know?
We don't
Actually,
know.
We don't
What was the
know.
question?
it's an important question.
Pay attention.
No, you
So-
cut out.
Origin
cut out.
ships are known for not having many entrances. How many are there on the 890 jump, and are there good choke points near them? So it's basically how are you going to defend your 890 against a boarding party?
This is a great
How many
question because-
entrances are there that you've got to defend? And
We know of two elevators,
Well,
potentially a docking port.
Yeah. I'm gonna
You know
pump
there's the
ketamine
hangar
into
on the
air
top?
filters of my ship, so anyone who comes aboard will be sedated instantly.
3 entrances. That's true. We have a
That's
hangar.
good.
So we-
smart.
no, but
I like that.
Hangar top.
So, like, I have a crew. I mean,
Use
so,
the
like,
room,
Hacker
the
Inc.
room system, the room atmosphere system.
Yeah, just ketamine.
just
Ketamine, nice.
straight ketamine.
Special K.
Exactly.
I'm not saying I know anything about that. No, but it's
Nobody's
like
gonna
my
nobody's
the
gonna want to do
whole-
anything violent.
Well, the whole basis of what I'm branding was like Hacker Inc. That's my little niche group. It's it's stuck for years. Yeah, it's been like 20 years I've had that. I can't get away from it, but anyway. So, but the whole point is we're a very tight knit group. That's like but yeah, choke points are really important because we're a small group. So yeah. So like Mad, are you mad? Oh my gosh, your name is terrible. Are you mad for 3 TD? Anyway, so choke points very important, right? Because
Eddie
you know,
interrupts,
we're
says
gonna
he's
defend
gonna
it.
he's gonna hold us ransom.
Oh well, yeah, he probably would. Hey, he's one of my guys.
Well-
he probably would.
We'll figure
okay.
out. We have connections. We'll try and make sure that we're well protected.
And we'll know more about the choke points and shit when we see the ship, because until then it's just speculation. We don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
We don't know how many entrances
But
there are. We don't
it
know
is
how
important,
many
right? The least amount of attacking points, the better. But can you cut a hole through the hull?
No, not yet.
Not yet. I'd like to think so.
Yeah, sooner or later, at some point, maybe.
Yeah.
But current
Okay.
technology, there's no way it would work.
Yeah.
So here's another
I
question
don't
that
think
we
so.
have. Again, this is from the website, and this is a question that's been around for ages. But I think every new show will get this question, and I think it's a when question. So Jared would be shaking his head at us, but let's answer it and get it done. I won't even say the person who asked it because I don't want to have them rickrolled by people. So the question is, realistically speaking, we know the game has been in development forever, and it's still going to develop for a while. If you were to put a year on the official release, when do you think that would be?
2020.
2017.
No, mark my words. 2020. It'll be 2020.
Yeah. So
We released in
Wait.
2017.
I think, again, that goes back to our release question, right?
There's
Our
no way it's
launched
2020. There's no way it's
There's
2020.
There's no way. There's no way it's 2020 because
What do you
like,
mean by release?
this is the thing, right?
Maybe.
So
So
okay, I'm going to speak for a second here. I've been okay, just because I have to. So, we talk about the releases and how they're probably going to be a slow release process as they come through. Talking about releasing out
rolling
systems
release
because we can't
schedule.
have 100 systems ready by 2020. I mean, you can get as procedural as you want. If you can do it completely procedural, you won't have that bespoke mission arcs. You won't have any of that. So it's going to take a little bit longer. They'll be able to do a lot procedurally, but it's going to take time. So if you're going to make the game living and breathing and really have it play out well, it's going to take tying it in with the Squadron 42 release. I mean, this is my prediction that with Squadron 42, with the 3 episodes, if it stays 3 episodes, those will end up being sort of world events that are used. They'll tie into those characters, those cinematics, those big names, and use those as world events to end up growing the different events that happen in the game. And then they'll use the patches to release more events. So someone discovers another jump portal into a new zone. So I know we have the lore already, but I think that how things flush out with the releases, they would be remiss to not tie in some of Squadron 42 and some of the new content that's coming out in order to flow that release process.
Squadron 42 takes place in the past. It takes place in 2942.
Sure, but then they can use other things, right? They can use other vehicles. So maybe it's
They're
not
gonna
Squadron
have-
42 specifically, but they can
already
use
have
other
game
cinematics to do
masters
that.
that they've hired. So they're going to have events that happen in game. They're going to trigger things. They'll have
Yeah.
vandal attacks. Like, that's all pretty much common sense if you think about it. They're going to do that. But it still comes back, the question comes back to what we determine as release. And, we don't know what release is going to be because some of us think we've already hit release point. Like,
Yeah.
No, we're not. No, you're really cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my
But someone
work
would say
is
persistent.
software development, and it is application development, and you have releases the whole way, and the
Right,
new way of doing
exactly.
things, and especially with video games because it's an evolving experience. I mean, look at World of Warcraft. I mean, it's still going strong, and they keep having new DLC, new releases. So
right.
um,
And that's
Why
what they're doing.
does
They
it
call it
work?
a rolling
And-
release schedule.
and they charge you for that shit.
Oh,
But
yeah.
why does it
Yeah.
work,
Every
right?
2 years, it's
Why does
another
it work?
$30, $40 or whatever it is.
Why does
but the
it
fact is,
work?
it does
Well,
work.
no. Why does
It-
it work?
it-
I mean,
it
this is a
works.
great question because one of my actually partner in one of my businesses, he only still plays to this day. He bought a top end laptop, Corian. Yeah, I'm talking to you. He bought a top end laptop, and he's like, I don't want frame tearing, I don't want screen tearing, blah, blah, blah. But he plays WoW, and it's like doesn't even support that. So
Yeah.
I
You're
played
like,
a little while. It's like, okay, so but
anyway,
a
so
friend of mine talked me into it. It's like when the last expansion came in, I bought in for a month. I played for a couple of weeks and I lost interest again.
Yeah, but the
Wow.
whole point is, you go back to that and you're like, okay, dude, this game has like 1 billion updates, and how do they handle it? Well,
Yeah.
it's a great learning
10,
ground.
10 million active accounts monthly at $15 a month. That's $15 million a month
Ish.
ish.
Uh,
10,
Math
10,
is hard.
10 times 15. No, it's 100. It's 150 million dollars a month that they're
It's a lot of
breaking
eight.
in. That does not suck.
No.
Yeah.
That does
I
not.
wish I
suck.
was bringing in 150 million a month.
Yeah.
You know, like
You can with
don't-
Powerball
Close.
I
for 1 month
really
anyway.
see Star Citizen eventually having a pretty significant player base like that.
Well,
Yeah.
no, it will. I mean, it kind of already.
We'll
but
see.
anyway,
It depends on
yeah.
how well persistence and server meshing goes.
Yeah.
I don't have any issues with that.
I really feel
don't
server
doubt that.
meshing is this ancient tiny secret. But
Yeah, it's
I-
definitely going to be the horse that breaks the camel's back. Yeah.
I see a Sam.
the horse that
Horses
breaks
on
camel's
camels.
back.
Like that's.
Have you ever
I'm
transported
pretty
horses
sure
across the
that's
Arabian
not
desert?
the way it works, but okay. Fair
We
enough.
More
load
like
them up on
camels,
camels.
right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure enough of something like this would probably make you say that, but that's okay. Anyway,
Well, guys,
Moving
I think we've had a great show. We're at the end of questions. We've
yeah.
covered up
An
the
hour and a
weeks.
half over.
any last minute questions?
Yeah,
There's a
we're
bit,
just
Ready,
past
ready,
2 hours
ready,
now
round.
for
One more
streaming.
question. Ready.
My
Here we
So-
go. To the chat.
2022.
2022.
One more question. We're waiting for the next question, guys.
Any question at all? No,
No, we're
there's
done.
a lot of chat, but it's like
Say goodbye.
I don't think they're even listening anymore.
Okay, so
Drink
I just want
water.
to say a couple of things very quickly, though. We've had a great show. I think we've gone through this show and learned a little bit about engaging with Twitch as we
Agreed.
kind of go along. I'd like to see us engage a lot more with people throughout the show. I still want to do a Q&A section, but at the same time, that can be what comes in throughout the week, and we can do some engaging throughout the show, and that'll have the show be a little bit more organic and kind of flow through. Everybody think in chat that that's something we should do? Put
Yeah,
a
I
1
mean,
in
like,
chat for yes,
I know I have
a
a
2
lot of
in
my
chat
friends
for
actually
way
here.
better, and a 3 in chat for yeah, go for it, and a 0 for just don't.
No, I have a lot of friends in chat, so I'm wondering if, like, what you guys think. What should we do? Are we in the right direction? Just scream out. I don't even know
Yeah.
what 1 and 3 actually mean anymore.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Go,
Any
Johnny, go.
number that's not a 0 is
there you go.
positive in that one. Okay, guys, thank you so much. It was a great
Good
show.
show.
If you have any more questions between now, you can go to our website and put the question there. And until then, enjoy your drinks,
Don't-
enjoy Star Citizen, and
Don't forget to
looking
like
forward
and subscribe on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Like, subscribe,
Twitch,
and cheers to
Our
all
website
of you.
is YachtClubSC.com.
Mhm.
Follow us on Twitter.
Follow us on Twitter, which is something linked from the website there.
Yep.
Everything's linked from the website. So YachtClubSC.com is our master
Everything's in the
website.
website. I made sure I
Follow
like,
us, and
That's-
And it
Yeah, I
updates
put in chat.
correctly.
Yeah.
One at a
And
time.
have
I-
fun when
gone-
3.5 hits the PTU.
Yeah,
if
I've
you
got-
get access.
which
Oh, yeah, when-
hopefully would be before our next show.
if it hits,
Yeah,
if it hits
maybe
on
Friday.
we'll be talking about it next week, and everything
Yep.
else comes out.
You
Cheers,
sexy
guys.
captains.
We'll
Salute.
talk to you soon.
Oh,
See you
everyone.
around
Everyone in
the
the chat, everyone.